Defining Duke, an Xbox podcast, is brought to you by, well, you. If you want to learn how to support the show, go to patreon.com/laststandmedia.
And we are live. Welcome to Defining Duke and Xbox podcast, episode number 81. And we are back a little bit different this time. You know, first off, we would be remiss if we did not shout out the obvious. Shout out to my brother, my Duke brother, Mr. Matty Play. Send some love to him, y'all. Like, he is really going through some back issues right now. I'll let him get this describe the gory details of it on his own time. But he's really, what I like is taking care of it, going to address it. So send him some best wishes. We're going to try to hold the fort down as best we can. That's my bro. Heal up. You're too young to be having these issues, but I'm glad you are addressing. Most people try to fight through it, and I love what you're doing, brother. So we're going to send our love. The whole LSM community sends their love. But in the meantime, we're going to hold it down. You know what I mean? We got a fan favorite and a home team favorite. Well, man, so let's start off with my man, Ben Smith. How we doing, sir? Associate producer, Lily Mo Games. Ben is, should I call you Ben is handsome? I like that. I like Ben is handsome for Handsome Phantom. Should we still call you that?
Yeah, my mom used to tell me that, and I think my wife said it at least once. So it's got to be true at this point. But yeah, no. So Matty, he's using the back trouble as an excuse. I actually am the one. I injured him so that I could have an opportunity to be on the show for once. So that's just I'm here. So
bullied your way in, man. I like it. Like, you gotta force your way in the game sometimes. No doubt. Appreciate you, man, holding it down. Resident Sea of Thieves expert. We got I feel like I got some spoiler cast with you lined up, man. Yeah, I feel like we got some games that might align. Looking forward to it. Always good to get your perspective. Good to have you, man. I feel like I haven't talked to you, even though you hear me all the time.
Yeah. we chat in Discord all the time. Yes, but yeah.
Yes. And of course, a man who needs no introduction, the Million Gamer Score General himself, the Wheel of Time, good friend, and the Duke of Chicago Tavern Style Pizza, my man. Palermo's in the building. Palermo representative, Randall. How we doing?
What's going on, Cog? What's going on, Mr. Ben? You put out the bat signal. This was like a super last minute, like last second. You were just like, because we were talking last night, and you were like, I need you tomorrow. I'm like, what? All right. I got nothing planned. Oh, hopefully Matty, as well, and gets recuperates and is feeling good, and however long it takes, whether it's a week or a month. Mm-hmm. Back pain is no joke. I went through that, as you well know. Interesting for me though, you remember I quit caffeine, cold turkey, and I was prepared for the headaches, right? But what I got was severe lower back pain for 3 days.
I do remember.
I couldn't move. It was the worst pain I ever experienced in my life. And I'm like, wait a minute, is this a symptom of caffeine withdrawal? And I looked online, and sure enough,
I've never heard that before.
Plenty of people were like,
wow.
Yeah, I guess it's potentially one of the side effects of going caffeine withdrawal is severe lower back pain.
Wow.
I didn't have the headache withdrawal. I couldn't literally move for 3 days.
Wow.
And then it was gone. It was fine.
Yeah, man. I didn't even know that. And then I know just overall for me, all I did was I think I tweaked my back one time in the gym, and I think it was like doing squats or something, and something said, "Whoa, stop."
Yeah.
And it took me about like 15 to 20 minutes to kind of gather myself. And I'm like, wait a minute, I can't really walk right now. Like, I need to slow down. And I shut everything down, didn't go to the gym for about 2-3 weeks, and until it started recovering. So I definitely had tweaked myself, and I need to go get that checked out. So back is no joke, man. That's why I really empathize with Matty, man. That is serious pain. And the same thing with you said, Rand. That is no joke. But yeah, man, we got to get on with the show. A lot to talk about. So let's get into the early intro and the news bit. So early access for the show goes live on Thursdays over on patreon.com, Last Stand Media, and hits free feeds from Spotify, Apple, and Google Podcasts, and plenty more on Sunday. Furthermore, you can watch the video version on the Last Stand Media YouTube channel. And then also Defining Duke Ultimate episode 77 had good friends, had an all Michigan team. We had Hogue Law and our good friend Gaming Forte breaking down the Microsoft Netflix partnership. Go check that out. That was a great episode. It's on the Patreon feeds right now. Appreciate the support, appreciate the comments, and have a follow-up directly from Mr. Matty Plays himself. Weekly reminder to play Danganronpa from Mr. Matty Plays. He says the streak must live on. Salute to my brother for fighting the good fight, because he's going to have to do something for me when it comes to Yakuza Like a Dragon. So it's going to be Danganronpa, Yakuza Like a Dragon, both games we haven't played, and we're going to collaborate and talk about our experience. So salute to him for keeping the streak alive. But now we got to get into what we've been playing, all the games, all the fun stuff. So let's start with Rand, man. I see a game on there that I know you might want to talk about later, so you may not go too in detail with one of them, but what are these games you're playing, Rand?
So, I played for review. Xbox was kindly enough to give me a code for As Dusk Falls, which is the new Xbox Global Publishing game, which came out on Tuesday. It's a narrative adventure in the vein of Telltale, Life is Strange, where it's strictly really focused on the story and the choices you make. But unlike, say, Life is Strange or Telltale, there's really not a lot of gameplay, right?
That's
It's
true.
basically kind of just you're choosing dialogue choices or choosing actions of like whether or not you need to escape or stay, and there's quick time events. So if you're a person that enjoys these type of experiences, because I know this is a niche thing, right? I am someone who greatly enjoys these type of experiences. I had no expectations going into this game, Cog. None. I wasn't like, I saw the trailers at the 2 Xbox shows. I thought to myself, I'm not digging the art style. It has that comic book, like single pane image, right? Where it flows like that. And it just like, it really didn't catch me. But, as they say, don't judge a book by its cover. I started playing it. I gotta say, brother, I was hooked. The story drew me in. Basic setup is there's like 2 families, and I'm not going to give too much away, but they intersect. You have a father, and a daughter and the wife, and then like his father, and then these kind of like these kids. These I don't know what word you describe them.
Rascally kids.
Yeah, these rascally kids, and they're not so good. And it intersects in a hotel, and it tells a story over about 6 hours. And I know we'll probably talk a little bit later, but
Save some balls for later.
I gotta say I was really enjoying it. I know you've been playing it as well, so
Yeah. I mean, I think shout out to the devs. I believe Interior Night, and they had a New York Microsoft event. Thank you Xbox for allowing us to go to the event to cover it. Me and Solve covered it, and it was like what you said. Coming into it, when I saw it, I had the same feeling like, oh, niche. This is gonna be a card game. Right, and I it almost reminds me like when we had like a little 12 minutes breakdown. There's certain games that I'm going to gravitate regardless if the execution is there, because I like really good narrative driven games. And I'm like, all right, and we'll talk about this later. But yeah, it was one of those things. I'm like, wait a minute. This is kind of drawing me a little bit. And I got one thing to say to Rand. This is an inside joke. When it hit for me was when I saw when one of the characters, who kind of reminds me of Ben, like eerily reminds me of Ben, literally goes, "So who's Bruce?" And I was like, "Oh, this game about to go somewhere." And I think you know what I'm talking about. That line, you know what that line? That line started make me question a lot of things about certain relationships, and that's all I'm going to say. But yes, I'll let you continue with the rest of the games you're playing. But I agree, we will talk about some of this.
Yeah, we'll talk a little bit more. The other thing I've been playing was Forza Horizon 5's Hot Wheels expansion, which came out yesterday. And I mean, what else is there really to say? Playground Games, masters of their craft. Like, bar none. I don't think anybody's better. And it's just, a lot of people were concerned that, like, going back to Hot Wheels so soon. But then you play this and you see it and just how much visually better it looks. But then the park itself is like way bigger than the one in Forza Horizon 3. So you get the sense that they had things in mind that they maybe wanted to do in Forza Horizon 3, but were limited by and they couldn't do it. And then this is like the real deal, right? Like, my jaw was on the floor at certain points. It is incredible. It's kind of just like their other DLCs. You go through a whole bunch of different events. You complete these missions, you get stars, and you unlock like harder events and get faster racing cars. But bro, just driving around, like looking like
Beautiful.
you're on the track and you're going to loop-de-loops, but you're also in like the jungle with the waterfalls. And they actually sort of implement well like off-road racing, because you'll be on the track, but then all of a sudden you'll be on the ground racing through forests and stuff like that to get back on the track.
Yeah.
And it has they have the 3 biomes, right? You got, because it's just, it's not in Mexico, it's a different place. You're suspended up in the sky.
Yes.
Right. So you have this like middle part where it's everything suspended, and then you have like the forest cavern up north, and I believe you have the Rocky Cavern off to your east, and on the west side is the Ice Mountain, right?
Like
so it has all those really cool different biomes, like volcanoes. So you're doing all the races and going it is magnificent. It is great. Have you played it? I don't know if you got a chance to check it out.
I'll defer to Ben first, but I did play it. I'll talk about it too. I don't know if Ben got a chance to play it all, or not messing with the Horizon stuff too much.
No, I've played a good bit of the New Horizon, but just jerking around. I haven't really been serious into it. The Hot Wheels is something I want to hop into, but I just haven't yet. It's only been out a short time, but
it just came out. Like, you got time. You got more than enough time.
I mean, those games and most racing games are eternal, right? I mean, the only thing that's going to possibly get outdated is the graphics. So I'll get to it soon, probably.
Absolutely. And Ben, man, you've got some interesting games on your list, man. I want you to talk about it, man. What you been playing?
Well, I know this is an Xbox show, and Xbox and PC is where I'm at most of my time. But my first 2 games are PlayStation games. So one is the first one is God of War 2018. Just been in a very God of War mood with Ragnarok coming out this fall, getting ready for it. I don't have anything to say about the game that hasn't been said before, except that if you've got God of War on your PlayStation and you haven't touched it since it came out, hop back in, check it out with that 60 FPS mode. It's crispy. It's beautiful. It's amazing. I'm playing through on New Game Plus. Maybe try to go get the platinum. I don't know. Okay. I'm not much of a trophy chaser, but for games I really love, I usually go for it. The second one is Stray, which just came out yesterday. Man, just such a cute little game. It's way more heartfelt and goes a lot of places that I didn't expect it to go. As a matter of fact, my youngest son, who's 6, and he's very emotional. He's a boy through and through, but he's very emotional. And he was watching me play the end of it. He started bawling at the end of it. Like it touches some places. But like, I mean, I'm not even much of a cat guy. I've just never been around cats that much because my mom was super allergic. Last time I was around a cat was pretty allergic. But I've always liked the idea of cats, and
the idea of cats.
Yeah, the idea of cats.
I like the theory about them.
If somebody created like a scientific method about cats, I would probably study it, But it's a good game. It's fun. It's only, I don't know, if you're going for like all the collectibles and stuff, probably 5-6 hour game. I wrapped it up between yesterday and today pretty easily. There's a trophy for beating it under 2 hours, so I know it can be done really quickly. But there's a lot you're not going to see. It's beautiful. Everything in the game is beautiful. Some of the scenes and the set pieces are just phenomenally crafted. The gameplay is, you're a cat, but it's got a lot of puzzle stuff in it. So For those who are on PC, if you don't have a PlayStation, I would definitely check it out. I think it's $30.
Steam Deck ready?
It's on. I don't know if it's Steam Deck ready or not. I don't have a Steam Deck, Cog. I know. I don't leave my house a whole lot, so I don't really have a lot of use for it. Yeah. I mean, if I'm at home, I'm probably playing on a console or my PC, quite frankly. So
I got you.
Yeah.
I got you.
And then the third game is potentially, it's only July. So look, I don't want to get the thing going too soon, but this might be my GOTY for the year. And that is, yes, listen to me. I didn't say it was the best game of the year. I said it might be my GOTY of the year. It's Power Wash Simulator.
What?
Boys, I have sunk probably dozens of hours into Power Wash Simulator in the last week.
Wow.
And this is not a game. I think this is a question later on that I'll talk about again then, but this is not a game that I would have been like, oh, I'm buying that. I got to play that game. No, that is not it. But this is a game I was like, you know what? I need a game where I can just chill out at 3 a.m. when I'm still awake and no other human is. And yeah, that's true, Cog. Sometimes I'll send a message and you respond at like 4 a.m. and I'm like, what the hell? Why is Cog awake? He's got a real job. He's got to work in the morning.
My sleeping is awful. Random too. Like sometimes we sit each other like, yo, you up? And then we get the message right back.
So Power Wash Simulator, there are no gimmicks to this. You're a person who owns a power washing company and you just power wash shit. That's the whole game. And there are objectives and goals, and certainly there are trophies by power washing one thing ahead of another in a certain stage or whatever. But I mean, like, this game, I know I got some OCD. This game fulfills the very particular type of OCD I have. Really? It is 100% my game. And again, I don't know if it's the best game it's certainly not the best game of the year. I don't know if it's going to be my favorite game of the year, but right now it's the game I've vibed with the most, the game that is the most me. It's perfect for just like, you're chilling, you're listening to a podcast in the background, you're just power washing shit for no reason. Like, it's got upgrade paths. It's like, it's got progression. Like there's some, if you don't think it sounds appealing to you, you're probably right. But if you're me and it didn't sound appealing to you and you try it, like I once I'm done with it, like once I complete all the stages, I'll be done. But for right now, I'm like, I got to power wash. I got to power wash everything.
So what is like the main hook? Like what is the part that when you started, you like, oh wait, this may have me now. Like what was the moment?
I think it was when I turned on the power washer and then dirt went away. That was the moment for me. Like that was the thing that did it.
Is it just well done? Like, is it like, it's got to be something, I understand the actual idea of it, but it's just like, I'm trying to think, usually like, maybe the way the water is and the way, graphically it looks or the way it just feels realistic.
No, none of that. I don't know. I don't do much power washing. My wife was like, why don't you power wash the house? And I was like, no, you gotta be wet when you do that. You got to carry around the hose with you. Like, and my wife's not at all naggy or anything. Like, she's super chill, but she was just like joking around. I was like, no, that's totally different. That's not at all Zen. This is like, this is Zen right here. No, like there's nothing great about it. It's not, I mean, it looks nice, but it's not like, there's nothing impressive with the graphics, nothing. It's just like, it's dirty and then it's not. That's it.
Fair enough. Salute the power. And again, that's a Game Pass, right? I believe that's
it. It is a Game Pass game, yeah.
Salute the power. I guess I got to at least see what it is because I've heard multiple people on my timeline talking about it. And I was just like,
on Steam right now, and I'm playing it on Xbox Game Pass PC, but on Steam right now, it is the number 2 highest rated game of the year that came out this year. The only thing beating it right now is God of War. And that was a re-release.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
This is like OCD heaven, I'm telling you.
I mean, look, I'm the same one. Go ahead, Red. I'm sorry.
It's funny because I have a couple friends who are addicted to it as well.
Yeah.
I was in a party with them last night and I was playing Forza and they were both playing Power Wash. And I'm like, my buddy has like 30 hours in it.
Yeah.
And my other buddy's playing. I'm like, do you like these simulator games? Like, didn't like Lawnmower Simulator. Doesn't like, he's like, for what it is, it's just, I don't know. He said it just speaks to them. There's something about it. I don't know.
Well, Rand, I'm with him on that Lawnmower Simulator because I played Lawnmower Simulator for a little bit just because I was like, this is stupid. I got to try it. And it was Game Pass, so why not? And Lawnmower Simulator, though, like, there's too much work in Lawnmower Simulator. You got to like make sure you're not going too fast and don't spin out on the grass. You got to make sure your deck's not too low. in Power Wash Simulator, if you hit a thing with water, you did your
goes away.
job. Like, it's just like it's there. It doesn't.
I guess it's also a cool chill game because you don't really got to think.
Yeah, exactly.
You listen to a podcast or audiobook. You
hang
just
out with your
kind of
buddies on Discord call. Yeah, whatever. Yeah.
Just that's what you need to be. You need to be. Well, I was going to say, Cog, you should be playing it while you're playing Naraka, but I guess that's not possible.
Not possible. Not possible.
So.
But no, listen, it has my attention. Multiple people now have said it. To me, it's one of those things that we talk about. It's in Game Pass. There's no excuse for me not to at least see what's going on. What's
Play
the
one
craze.
level.
Yeah, we'll see.
What it is. Yeah.
It reminds me of how you felt about that. I didn't understand why the hell do I like the Goose Game? Like, what was it? The one I just was like addicted to this thing. It was harassing people and just this evil goose or whatever. So it is what it is. But yeah, for me, same things, man. I don't want to beat a dead record, but Naraka Blade Point has its hooks sunk in me, bro. Like, I just cannot stop playing this game, and it hits all the notes for me. The melee combat, the different weapons. Now I'm getting into the end game aspect, which is these things called soul jades, and pretty much what you do is you find them, and based on there's so many varied type of melee weapons, long swords, daggers, nunchucks, double sword, all this stuff. And then some of these jades if you find them along the battlefield, they'll have synergy with the actual weapons, give them extra moves, extra combos. I'm learning kind of like the basically the fighting is kind of like paper, scissors, rock, where it's like you have these charge moves that can break through normal moves, right? But then if people abuse the charge moves, you have a counter move. And then so that appeals to my fighting game instincts. Like, okay, like this is a fighting game. So if I'm better than someone, it doesn't come down to less gunplay. Like, it's like, I'm better than you and I'm one of the last guys standing, but then you got to know when to retreat, right? And it's like, okay, there's 3 guys over there fighting. Let me, the circle's closing. And then everything's just done so cool with the Chinese mythology and mystical. The actual ring itself is like this big spiritual dragon at the top of the sky blowing fire onto the field. Like, it's a beautiful game. The characters are distinct. I have this character right now who's like has like a staff, and he's kind of like one of those, like, I don't know, Ming Dynasty kind of characters, Dynasty Warrior kind of characters, but like he turns into this like supernatural beast thing. And I've never seen a game like that where most battle royales, again, that's my fighting game instinct. The most battle royale, everyone's the same and you just shoot. But anyway, Naraka's got me. And the last thing, they got a Fall Guys game collaboration right now, where it's a separate mode, which is goofy as hell, right? Like, it's literally like a Soul Calibur pit with edges. You could fall off the edge, right? And in the middle, they put all the weapons. So all teams run to the middle to try to get these weapons. But the funny thing is they have these mallets that swing across the map while all of you guys are fighting, that is just antagonizing everybody. And then more of them come and they're swinging. So you're dealing with the characters, you're dealing with the goddamn mallets. It's just hilarious. And you're doing all of this while trying to pick up these little Fall Guy figures to give you a reward. It's hilarious. They got one, man. They got me. At least they got me. So I've been playing that. And obviously we talked about As Dusk Falls. And been doing that, so we'll talk about that later. But yeah, and of course, Hot Wheels. I played that. Rand, you're absolutely right, bro. I was more impressed graphically. Wow, look at what the Series X is doing.
That intro race. Oh my Lord!
God, I mean, it was just 60 frames per second. I'm defying gravity. It just is a beautiful looking game. And to be fully transparent, I didn't really play a lot of Hot Wheels before. So this is kind of like my first serious introduction to it. And it's really game changing, especially when you're doing the gravity defying stuff. It is just, look, salute. If you have it, go play it. Phenomenal. So that's what we've been playing. So we got to get into these warm-up questions. I know we got a lot to go on. So shout out to Whoopi77, Sup Dukes. It was recently announced that Microsoft would assist Netflix with adding ads to their streaming service. With Netflix also getting into games, do you think there will be anything more here that will evolve into the gaming space? Cheers. And have you're watching a TV show and almost at the end, and then it gets spoiled for you kind of day. Salute to Whoopi. So let's bring this to you guys, man. So about this Netflix situation, Rand, I want to get your thoughts first. Like, what do you think about this whole deal and what Whoopi is saying? Do you think there's anything more here?
Well, I mean, I'm sure everybody's heard the rumors, right? You guys talked about an ultimate. At least one analyst seems to think that Netflix might be looking for an exit strategy, and Daddy Microsoft might be there with arms open, essentially. I did think it was a bit odd for Netflix to pick Microsoft to run their ad platform for their ad-supported free tier that Netflix is doing, because that's not usually Microsoft's business, or at least like what their expertise is. So when I saw that when it was announced, I was like, that's a little bit odd. I wouldn't have thought Microsoft would be the one. And then, things hit the fan when the analyst is like, hey, I think they're cozying themselves up to Microsoft. Kind of like they're one of the few companies that could buy them, and one of also a few companies that don't have an entertainment streaming play. Like Apple has one. Like Apple has the money to buy them, but Apple already has their own, streaming platform, and Amazon as well. So it's like Microsoft's like the only one out there with the money and the reason to get it. So. And then you talk to people, and a lot of people think it's a possibility, which, I don't know, man. Like, if you would have said to me 3 years ago that Xbox would buy Bethesda and Activision Blizzard and Sony would buy Bungie, I would have, laughed at you. Yeah. I'm sure everybody would have laughed at you, right? We're in an era now where, these companies are investing heavily. You have inflation running rampant, right? So companies want to spend money, because money's losing its value in the banks and stuff. And Netflix, for whatever reason, is at that point where everybody's kind of views them as vulnerable at this. Like, for a while, they were the golden goose.
Yeah.
They couldn't be touched. They ushered in this revolution of streaming, but now they have competition. Disney Plus is on them. HBO Max is on them. And quite frankly, you can make the argument that Netflix's pricing is probably too high. I mean, they charge like $18 for 4K streams, but then Disney Plus charges $7. So, and Netflix cancels a lot of shows, which over the course of time pisses a lot of people off, because they feel like they can't get invested into something. So their recent report was they lost 1 million subscribers. Even though the stock price did rebound, right? It went up 10% or whatever. Yeah. But the idea is that Wall Street views Netflix as kind of it's over for them. It's done, right? And in the scenario of these companies getting bought out, Activision Blizzard going to Microsoft, EA, there was those reports a couple months ago that they almost had a deal with Comcast, right? Or Disney was looking at them. So you're just in this scenario. It's yeah, why not? Sure. Maybe it is. Maybe it's something that you didn't think was possible years ago might be possible now. Simple because if Netflix stock does drop enough, kind of like Activision, maybe someone like Microsoft does come in and is oh, that price got real low real fast. And you can look at it Microsoft would probably, they would love to, I mean, the integration with Game Pass is what I'm sure everybody thinks of, right? Yeah, they're doing gaming, as you mentioned. They're getting into that field, but it's what if you could supercharge it? What if Microsoft bought Netflix, and then at some point in the future, you just open up Netflix and the Xbox catalog is there.
Yeah.
Right? Because Netflix has 220 million subs. Game Pass is 25 million. I mean, that's a staggering difference.
Oh, yeah.
So there is that thought process where it's man, that potentially could be game changing, right? And then also we at Xbox fans, sometimes you don't get Japanese content, right? Sometimes games like Final Fantasy don't come to the platform no more.
Correct.
But if you were Xbox or if you were Microsoft, and let's say you do buy Netflix, you integrate Game Pass and everything into there, maybe it sends a message to these developers you feasibly can't skip Xbox anymore, simply because the reach of Xbox, including console, PC, and everywhere, but then all these potential new customers that you would have through a Netflix subscription, that is, because the gaming's talked about reaching new demographics, right?
Yeah.
That could
outside
be
the console space for sure.
Yeah. Plus, Microsoft. It seems now also along with PlayStation, the play is also to make TV shows and movies off of your existing IPs. If you own Netflix, maybe you start supercharging some of, having some of the Netflix owned stuff start making, more TV shows and properties based off of the stuff you own.
Grounded
maybe
just announced something, right?
yeah, maybe Halo would have turned out better if it was on Netflix instead of on Paramount Plus. You know what I'm saying?
No Master Cheeks for Red. Okay.
It's who knows if it happens, but it's definitely something I'm keeping my eye on simply because maybe there is something there. Who knows these days?
No doubt, man. What are we thinking? Netflix, more to it, or just surface? Where you at with this?
In my heart, I think I mostly align with what Rand's saying. But because I don't see it being spun the other way, I'll take the pessimist point of view here. I think Microsoft would be silly right away to jump in and try to do another acquisition of this size. Activision's gigantic, but arguably Netflix is bigger because it reaches more types of people, I suppose, and in more countries probably as well. So I think that's one potential thing. I think this is kind of a marriage of convenience potentially, because we know that Microsoft and Netflix have worked together in the past before. We know that Netflix has been one of the perks for Game Pass Ultimate in the past, or maybe it was just Game Pass, but for Game Pass in the past. We know that the Azure servers are going to cost them a lot less, and potentially for their purposes are going to work a lot better than the AWS servers. I mean, AWS is amazing, but it's also super expensive.
Yeah.
So, I mean, when you got as much data and demand of constant pool on downloads as Netflix does, you need a cheaper access than AWS. So I think that we may get some more integrations. You may see that Xbox starts developing some more games that end up going on Netflix. Maybe Netflix, has those as part of the deal. They get a few of those here and there. Okay. And that maybe lures some people into Game Pass. And then maybe Game Pass, they put up another, hey, it's a 3-month free trial this time instead of a 1 month, or if you buy a full year, you get a full year in Netflix, whatever, something else integrated there. I think that the most likely scenario is that in 5 to 10 years, we may say oh yeah, Netflix, Amazon, yeah, or sorry, Netflix, Microsoft, yeah, remember that when that company was formed, I remember when those two things combined. But I think for right now, it's just a marriage of convenience. They'll work well together. Microsoft certainly doesn't have the advertising chops.
That is true.
But Microsoft's got plenty of ability to get those advertisers. There's no problem there. And they know more demographic information on a wider range. They've got their browsers. They've got their search engines. They've got Xbox. They've got, their Microsoft. They've got Windows, literally. They've got way more information that can help serve things to customers than Netflix has just from knowing what kind of TV shows you like to watch. So I think it's probably more of a marriage of convenience for now. But again, like Rand said, I never would have thought they'd buy Activision either. So who knows?
Yeah, no, good points, both of you guys. I think fair enough. We talked about this on Defining Duke Ultimate with Hogue and Gaming Forte, and we're kind of in alignment in the same things. I'm with you, Ben, on the sense of, right now it's in the very early, what I consider the dating stage, right? Yep. It's they found a partner that they're going to be able to do this with, and Microsoft obviously doesn't have a lot of experience in that space. But at the same time, and one thing I brought to Hogue was just kind of why Microsoft? Clearly, the competitors are bigger, may have way more to offer, and why would Netflix arise at that decision to go with them? And he made a good point. He was just look, sometimes it comes down to control. Mm-hmm. One of the things in the press release, they talked about privacy being a big reason of a factor into the decision making process. And obviously, like you said again, Ben, they've got this tremendous history. Let's be honest, since the 360 era. And I brought this up, Rand. You remember when Netflix was kind of the platform where you can kind of get on Xbox streaming. That was one of the first on that. And I remember being in that room with the mock theater and VR. We have they have this thing called Big Screen, which kind of does it now. But back then, that was revolutionary. We had our all little avatars. We're watching the same movie together, all that stuff. And Netflix finally over time said, "Yeah, we could probably charge them on an account level. Let's break this up with 8 people watching one movie." But it was fun. You remember that, Ben? I loved that thing. I used to. You could throw tomatoes. You could chill. It was fun. You know what I mean? So
and nobody else had that either. You couldn't do streaming natively on any other platforms.
And
And
as
now
much,
you can do it on anything.
absolutely. And as much as Red, we give the Don, as we affectionately call him, Don Matrix, crap, that was, the entertainment stuff was a lot of his initiatives, right?
Yeah.
A lot of that, comes from that. But anyway, I just say all that to say, I definitely keep my eye on it. It is interesting to see if it progresses. There's a lot of potential there. The Azure infrastructure backbone from Microsoft standpoint, having them switch over. Let's see if there's future Game Pass integration and maybe subsidies on the subscription. And hey, if it relationship continues to build, who knows? Who knows what could happen? But I think Microsoft has to prove themselves with the chops with doing the ad stuff first and see how that goes. But yeah, that's what I got there. Almost moving on. John Jensen, good evening, gentle sirs. With the release of The Last of Us Part 1 remake fast approaching, I'm curious, which game from Microsoft from 2013 or newer would you like to see get the full remake treatment? Thanks for all your hard work and keep inserting in that pollo. The LSM references. Let's start with Ben, man. Like, what remake? What you think Microsoft could do?
Has Xbox had any games since 2013? I don't. No, I mean, in all seriousness,
Ben is messy.
No, think about it though. Like, I said that as a joke, but like, I can't think of any huge first-party stuff from 2013 to maybe 2016 that hasn't already been a remake. I mean, right off the top of my head, I think, well, like, it'd be really cool to get a Fable remake, but that was pre 2013. But then in I think it was 2013, maybe 2014, we got Fable Anniversary. That was already a remake. So do we remake the remake? Oh, wait, that's what Last of Us is doing. So I'm on team no remakes from 2013 forward. But I can't even think of one that I would want remade. I mean, the games from 2013 to this point still look good, still play well. Other than that, I can't even think of that many that are first party stuff that I'm like, oh, that could use some sprucing up. I can't. I'm drawing a blank.
Fair enough. Rand, any remakes in your docket?
I mean, not from the Xbox One generation. I really can't think of anything that really needs to be remade. I mean, there's definitely games I want sequels to, like Rise 2 or Quantum Break 2 or stuff, but I don't think anything needs a remake. Now, if you were to go further back in the past,
true.
Jade Empire on the OG Xbox, right? Something like that. I know people would love maybe they brought back up Project Gotham Racing, remade that or something, or Banjo-Kazooie stuff. But nothing from I don't think anything this past generation needs to be remade.
Yeah.
It's stuff from the 360 and before, in my opinion. So
I get the sense that there's no glowing memories of the Xbox One generation.
Well, it's not even that. Even if there's games that came out. I mean, I'm sorry, I'm one of the few people who like Crackdown 3. I didn't think it was good, but I liked it. And I think there are standouts in there. And I think there are games that I enjoyed. And I love The Last of Us the first time I played it. And I loved it when they remastered it. But I don't need it again. And that's kind of how I feel. Like a game that came out less than 10 years ago, if I want to play it, I can probably play it again pretty easily and it's going to look pretty good still. It's going to play pretty well, or at least as well as it played then. So it's not going to feel that outdated. So yeah, I'm team no remake from 10 years ago.
Okay. No, that's fair. I mean, in you guys' defense, I couldn't really think of much either. I'm just giving you a hard time. But yeah, I mean, obviously the rumor, which didn't happen. No, not saying that Rand started or anything like that, but just one of the rumors we heard was there's going to be the Gears remake. They're going to synergize all of them and bring them together. And that hasn't come to fruition yet. So, but yeah, outside of that, everything probably that we could think of is either has already been remade, kind of thing. So there's probably, and to Ben's point, a testament to, again, we needing Xbox first party to make these new IPs, especially ones that they control, because I look at Rise to the Rome and you look at Sunset Overdrive and I'm like, damn, you can't do anything with that. You look at Quantum Break and it's like, damn, you can't do anything with that with 505. You know what I'm saying? It's just, to me, Xbox One era represents why they went the direction they went, because they just didn't have control, and their first party offerings wasn't producing things to be able to do that. So look, it's a good question, valid point. So we will move on. Brian Keith. Hello, Dookies. Do you think you're going to get away from these bathroom questions? You thought wrong. Simple question. When you wipe, do you stand up or sit down? I'm a huge fan of standing up because it gives me a better angle and less of a chance to get any substance on my legs. I remember a while back hearing a certain Colin Moriarty being an advocate himself. You can ask him yourself for proof. I can already feel Cog's disapproval as I write this. Thanks, boys. Have I already poured a bowl of cereal, but there's no milk kind of day? So we're getting into this part of the Defining Duke section of the podcast. Randall Thor, are you a wiper sitter?
Is this a gaming podcast or what? What are a lifestyle podcast? Like, what's going on here?
I make my entire income from LSM, and I will say that LSM patrons have the most dog shit questions I've ever heard of. But anyway,
literally,
yeah.
bathroom 101.
Bathroom 101.
Standard or a sitter wiper?
I guess I'm middle, or I guess I'm in between. I'm a squatter.
I'm a squatter. Yeah, I'm a squatter.
Not like sitting on the toilet, but not standing completely up. I'm squatting. I don't know.
Get the good angle.
But it's just, doesn't it just go back to like how you were taught to do it? I guess.
Yes, I mean, but maybe Ben disagrees. I want to know more about standing culture. I've never heard of that actually, so I'm curious.
Like standing straight up.
Yeah, because it's like the cheeks. What? How are you supposed to get between the? I don't know. I'm learning. I'm not judging. I'm just learning. So I want to hear. Ben, where you at?
I've never tried the standing up thing. I don't think I want to, but I'm team bidet. I think we know that. Like I'm team bidet. So you gotta sit to use the bidet. I'm not team sit down to pee, but I am team bidet.
All right. You know what? I can meet you there. Yeah. I'm not team bidet. But I understand people who are team bidet rave about the cleanliness. Yeah. And that I like. God likes the cleanliness.
Yeah. I mean, look, if you like wiping literal feces off of your skin with dry paper, you do you. But I'm going to be clean.
Why are you painting us as savages?
I'm not painting you as savages. I'm painting you as nasty. Because look, I haven't always had a bidet. I've had a bidet for like 3 years.
Uh-huh.
And I'll tell you what, life is a lot different now. Ooh. Yeah, it's cleaner.
You live a different life now. You got Hollywood
it's more refreshing. Yeah, no, it ain't Hollywood. I bought a bidet for like $40 or something. So yeah. French.
This is hilarious. I ain't got much to add to it other than same as Red. I'm kind of like the squat.
You do what needs to be done.
Yeah, you get the guy's angle, you get in there, you get out, do what you got to do. But shout out to the LSM family. Shout out to Brian Keith, being messy as usual.
So why do you think bidets haven't caught on? Because they are cheap. Like, you can get them from Amazon, install them yourself. They're not really expensive, but like,
you can get expensive ones.
I mean, I know they're more commonly used overseas in like Europe and stuff, but like here in the States, is it like a conspiracy that like the toilet paper industry kind of preventing people spreading the misinformation about the about it? Like, what do you think?
I think, well, first of all, it's not just. I mean, America literally is one of the only countries, North America, really. The only continent. I mean, everybody else uses bidets, and if they don't use bidets, they're at least using something wet. They're wiping off with something that can actually clean. So, like, we're one of the last countries on that boat. I don't know. I think it's a stigma, probably. It's a cultural thing. I mean, frankly, until I like actually tried one, I was like, I ain't doing that.
Ain't doing that.
Nothing gets near there. Sorry.
You didn't want that high propulsion.
It ain't for me. But after using one, I'm a believer. But I mean, I think it is catching on more. You see more and more people talk about it. I mean, dude, look at whenever COVID first started hitting and there was no toilet paper to be found in stores.
Oh, good point.
You couldn't find a bidet anywhere. And so there's millions more bidets in America now than there ever have been. So
good point. I didn't think about that. Yeah, remember the toilet paper crisis?
I didn't have that problem. I didn't have a toilet paper crisis. I'm just saying.
Shout out to the bear.
Shout out to the bidets.
End of the days, no doubt. So moving on, absolute butter. Hey, Dukes. After seeing all the love for TMNT recently in the gaming space, it got me thinking of another franchise that needs to return in a big way. Transformers. We haven't seen a true AAA Transformers game since 2012 with the release of Fall of Cybertron. I refuse to acknowledge Rise of the Darkspark. My man, he's a player. So I think, because that was trash. So I think it's safe to say that Transformer fans have been starved of something new for way too long. Don't get me wrong. I thought Devastation was a fun little game, but it was nowhere near the quality of the High Moon games. My question to you both is this. What would be your dream Transformers comeback game, and who would be developing it? Just to throw my idea out into the wild. I love to see NetherRealm take a swing at the franchise and create an MK-style fighting game full of brutal robot action. Anyway, that's enough for me. Till all are one. Salute to Absolute Butter. Love this question. So let's start off the bat. Transformers, I'm a little biased, so I guess I might jump in here. Look, man, I mean, the High Moon games are extremely near and dear to me. That, I believe, shout out to the gentleman, I believe his name, Brian Teague. He was like one of the lead devs for High Moon. He was able to make G1 Transformer games and link them into the lore with permission by Hasbro and those guys at Sunbow and all that stuff, Marvel. And these were just excellently done. The care, the attention to detail. They even had like a cool multiplayer mode that really was fun. Like you create your own Transformer, Autobot, Decepticon, that big car, flying plane. And it had a nice balance to it, a nice rhythm to it. The first game, I think, was 3-player co-op in the story. And then I think it just went away to either, I'm trying to remember if they got rid of the co-op. May have gotten rid of it completely in the second one, which was War for Cybertron. It's Fall of Cybertron, then War for Cybertron. And then it was told from two perspectives, one from the Decepticon side, the other one from the Autobot side. I thought they were excellent. They had Peter Cullen, the original, obviously, Optimus Prime. But yeah, it's time, man. It's time. I'm going to be honest. For me, I probably don't want anybody but High Moon doing it. I would love to get that team back together. It really broke my heart during the Activision days when they were kind of relegated to support studio status. They were kind of helping out on Destiny at one point. Some of Destiny's best content was Season of Opulence that they came up with, which is an excellent Destiny season. And then I know they've been doing Call of Duty stuff, but I would love, man, get the old band back together. Let's keep the series going until, Absolute Butter's question for me. I would say, yeah, I'm not opposed to a fighting game. Of course, that's new. That would definitely be cool. Give them, the Decepticons' unique abilities, Megatron, Starscream, all the foolishness. And yeah, I don't really, other one, I'll give an honorable mention. Platinum 1 was okay. It was like a cartoon. It was literally like watching G1, the cartoon, but it was like very stylish, over the top. But it wasn't that bad. I didn't mind Devastation too much. But I'm curious about both of you. Any of you Transformers fans like I am, or just would consider like it coming back, and how would either of you want it back?
I'm a Transformers fan, but not necessarily I like the 80s cartoon, right? I'm not necessarily a 2000s movies guy. I mean, the first one was okay, and there were some highlights in the other ones, but I personally would like to see one like you were saying the Platinum did that goes back to that old original cartoon style. I don't need a realistic Transformers game because let's face it, everything realistic Transformers we have had has not been great. Even the High Noon games were not that amazing. They were fine. The first one was fine. The other ones were just okay.
Wait, hold on. We got to be clear now. We might have problems on the LSM family. We got to be clear. So there was Fall of Cybertron, War of Cybertron, then it was like Darkspark. They kept making a bunch of them that were like movie tie. I'm hoping you're referencing those.
Not the movie tie-ins.
Okay.
Not the movie tie-ins. I didn't like the movie tie. I didn't play all the movie tie-ins either, so maybe there was a gem in there I would have enjoyed. But I think give it back that old original art style, or even better. Give it to a Japanese studio. Make it real old school. I mean, I know that the original was like, I think it aired in Japan originally because I have the Japanese box set and it's all in Japanese. There's no English subtitles or anything, which is kind of wild. I bought it not knowing that actually, but I think give it to a Japanese studio, see what you can do. I think that you should also, utilize all the things Transformers can do, right? They can fight hand to hand. They can drive. They can shoot. They can turn into a gun. Do whatever do whatever you can do with them, make it wildly varied. But I don't need another realistic Transformers game. I want something that kind of harkens back to the days of old and gives me a little bit of that. And I think, you're always talking about Xbox needing more Japanese games. Give it to a Japanese studio. I know it's not really in the heritage of a Japanese studio to make a Transformers product, but
I love what you said.
See what they can do. See what somebody can do and put it in almost like an anime art style.
Ooh, I like that. What about you, Red? Little G1 love? Don't we come from that, Red? Where you stand?
I mean, yeah, I love the OG Transformers. Probably like my favorite cartoon as a kid, and I also am a big fan of the High Moon Studios Transformers games, and I do kind of want Transformers to come back. You
got the touch.
Just thinking about like the Activision deal, we know that High Moon Studios has been working on Call of Duty. And one of the things that we hope happens is after the deal closes, Microsoft is like, okay, we're going to free some of you developer studios off of the Call of Duty Express. You can get off and make your own stuff.
Talk.
And I, for one, would love for High Moon Studios to come back and make something of their own. Maybe do another Transformers. Although I think that's a little bit unlikely. As we know, Xbox doesn't really like to license IP stuff. Yeah. But in general, if we're just like branching out to like all the third parties in the world to make like a Transformers game, I was just when you mentioned this for a minute there, I thought to myself, man, maybe Crystal Dynamics could make a really cool Transformers game. Very much like third person, story driven, linear, cinematic. In the vein of the High Moon games, but just like kind of taken to the next level.
Graphical fidelity high. Okay.
That's what I would want. Bumblebee, Megatron, Optimus Prime. I mean, I don't know who has the license now. Do we know who? Because I know Platinum made a Transformers game not that long ago.
Yeah,
PlayStation.
And I'm not sure. Has there been one since? I'm not sure.
The latest stuff has been like there's a turn-based game out right now. That's on. I think it's on Game Pass, and it's not good. I forgot. It's like a smaller.
Hasbro had it. Well, I'm sorry. Yeah. Hasbro had it with Activision for a while, but I don't think they still do.
It's a good question. I am not sure who actually has it.
Didn't the games all get removed at one point?
They did. Yeah,
they did. Yeah. They did. Broke my heart.
Yeah.
Broke my heart.
Then they came back, and you could get them because like they were 360 games, and then they came back on the Xbox One. And then they disappeared again because of licensing issues. Same thing that happened with the Marvel Ultimate Alliance.
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't know. Think of a game that needs a remake. Ooh. You know what I'm saying?
There we go.
Yeah, there we go.
There we go.
There we talking. Now, what you guys? Let's see what happens. But I love the question to all R1. Hayden Glass. Howdy Dukes. So I've always been a fan of large crossovers of IPs like Smash Brothers and Nickelodeon games. Xbox has plenty of characters under their belt now. I feel as though they should make a crossover game of their own. My question is, what sort of game would you want this crossover to be? And who is a must-have character? A platform fighter would be obvious, but why not a kart racer with Master Chief and Dom going bumper to bumper with Conker and Banjo? Give Microsoft some ideas and let's make this happen. Sincerely yours from Alabama. So Rand, do you think they need a crossover game like a Smash, a Mario Kart style? Where you at with this?
I mean, I think they eventually do after they kind of get everything done. Like they have the IP, the breadth of IP to do something like a Smash Brothers game, right? Or a Forza kart game or a kart racer where you have all the different characters, or like Fusion Frenzy, bring it back and have some, Xbox. You're gonna have Master Chief versus Joanna Dark versus Conker versus I'm trying to think like who's some Activision
Hero of Oakville.
You could have like Blizzard characters.
Senua in there. What's up with Senua?
Yeah, you could have a huge list of characters that you could do. So I do think they'll probably do that eventually. In fact, I think Jez have talked about this on the show where it was. I think you might have talked to somebody at Xbox about that. Where it was like they have to like kind of earn the right to do those things before they do them. I don't know. So like maybe plus you'd also have to find the right developer, right? Xbox has problems finding a developer for Killer Instinct, right?
Yeah.
Which they know they want to bring it back. So it's like if you wanted to make a Smash Brothers clone with Xbox characters, you'd have to find somebody because you don't have the internal studio to make it. And we already know those studios are like, they're not that many of them and they're all busy. So it's one of those things where you'd have to find the right partner. And maybe that's like the biggest problem is just finding somebody who wants to do it one and is available to do it two and has a good pitch three to do it. But I think eventually down the road, they definitely, because it would be a complete miss. You own so many of these nostalgic IPs from across all these studios that like at some point you need to leverage that, I think.
Absolutely. Ben, where you at with this crossover game potential?
I've never been a huge crossover game fan. And not to say that there haven't been good ones. I've just not been, I don't really, that doesn't draw me in. I'd rather play the games the characters are from than play them all in another game. Now, I mean, you know, we've got a great fighter. We've got Smash Brothers. And I know there's other crossover fighters that are coming out, but I've got Smash Brothers already. We've got great racing games. We've got Mario Kart, which is a crossover. We've got CTR, which is a crossover to some extent. So I don't know. I think if they do one, it can't just be a cash grab. I mean, all games are cash grabs, but it's got to be something that's unique and fits all the characters in, because like we do have a lot of badass characters in the Microsoft world. We've also got a lot of characters that aren't like, I don't know. I don't really see, you know, Master Chief and the hero of Oakvale, for like I mentioned earlier, going up against each other and not being in balanced fight. I mean, like Smash Brothers does it great. They're amazing with it, but yeah, I don't know. Just put everybody in Fortnite and get it over with, and we'll just call it
Fortnite and stop playing.
Yeah, I mean, they're making more money than anybody else. Just give it to them.
Look, I don't got too much to add to this. I'm surprised you, Red. I do lean with Ben on this one because it's like part of me is like, y'all know I'm hashtag just one movement. I'm like, y'all need more new IPs to develop new characters so we can have more new characters to add to said crossover game. You know what I mean? So that's why I'm so gung ho about it. I want the new faces of Xbox for the future. You know what I'm saying? And I look at PlayStation, I look at Jin Sakai, right, for Ghost of Tsushima. I look at, was it Alloy? I always butcher it. I forget what it is. Is it Alloy? Halo? Whatever. Halo, there you go. See, I butchered it. To the LSM fan, please don't come at me. I know I always get it. But yeah, like, yo, I like that. I like these are new faces. And now you have that. Like, to me right now, all I can think of is like the Senua. And we know the Dom, the Gears. We know, Marcus Phoenix. We know Master Chief. I get it. You can throw a Sea of Thieves pirate in there for Ben. You know what I mean? Like, we got people you can use. I just want more. So the roster is robust. But before all of that, honestly, my crossover that I really want is the Doomslayer Master Chief FPS, some type of thing. Because to me, Microsoft is truly the king of that space, in my opinion, from the shooter box, right? They do that better than, you want to call them the Dude Bro box, you want to call them now maybe the RPG box, you know what I'm saying? I want to see these companies that have that strength, Machine Games and, Coalition get in the room and let's cook up some type of story with a good narrative that fits it. And I'm like, okay, the universes collide. I want like a MCU level crossover in that with those two, kind of thing. It would be kind of cool to me. But
when you're talking post Activision acquisition too, I mean, you don't get a better shooter than Call of Duty from shooting mechanics point of view. I mean, you put in some of those narrative minds along with some of that technical prowess, and you could have something crazy.
Yeah. So that's what we got. So we're going to move into the news. Activision Microsoft deal could be approved as soon as next month, and that's by the Federal Trade Commission, FTC. They asked Microsoft and Activision Blizzard for additional information as they continue to review the proposed deal. So we got a question from VRG. Hey Dukes, what do you guys think of the FTC possibly approving the Activision Blizzard deal next? Activision Blizzard King acquisition next month. If the deal comes close this year, would you consider Xbox's 2022 to be saved? End quote. What do you expect in the short term from Xbox once the deal closes? So let's talk about it, Rand. Like, hearing reports, hearing rumors. Are you buying in? Where are you at with this?
I've always been of the opinion that I think the deal closes early next year. like maybe around February, March time. I don't know. I mean, I'm not Hoglaw. Shout out to Hoglaw. He knows what he's talking about.
I can give some insight for what he's
I'm just a random nobody with no camera, so I don't know anything about this, but I just have a feeling it'll be about a year from the time they announced it, from January to the time it closes, right? I would like for it to close this year, because I do feel like, and I've sort of heard through the grapevine that
Randall Insider.
The mergers and acquisition team is basically all hands on deck on this.
Yeah.
Like to the point where nothing else can get any movement. It's everybody's on this. So this is holding up other potential deals. So there is a sense that you probably want it done as soon as possible so you can pursue other potential deals and acquisitions, so you don't miss out on, in case of like, what if we mentioned, I think earlier, about EA, right? If EA's up for sale, maybe Xbox wants to be in on that at some point, but they can't because of Activision Blizzard. Right. So it's like, you need to get it done, right? Or somebody's moving in on one of these independent studios that Microsoft's working with, like Ion Interactive or Avalanche or whatever. So you want to get it done. As for like what you can expect, I would expect a slew of Activision Blizzard titles hitting Game Pass when it closes. Very much like how it happened with Bethesda. They'll probably add a whole bunch. Like the whole Call of Duty catalog will be in there, right? Crash 4, Crash Team Racing. Maybe some. I don't know. The question is, do they go back and do some back compat 360 stuff that they didn't before? I don't really. I would like to see that, but I just have a feeling probably Jason Round and the team would probably say no on that. I know the big question is, if they can say it gets done hypothetically by September, what does that mean for Modern Warfare 2? Does it save Xbox's 2022? And to me, I don't really think Xbox's 2022 is going to be saved if the deal goes through, because Modern Warfare 2 is coming out regardless, right? And I don't think it'll hit Game Pass. I would presume to think that the Sony marketing deal would prevent it from hitting Game Pass day one. So I think what you would want is at least for this deal to go through before Diablo 4 comes out, because I think Diablo 4 is the chance of actually launching on Game Pass day one.
That'd be huge.
So, yeah, I don't think it'll save Xbox's 2022, because this is, I mean, if I'm being honest, probably their worst year for first-party output. It went from potentially a very good year with Starfield and Redfall and everything else to just kind of like, hey, where'd everything go?
Yeah.
What happened? What happened in 2022?
Yeah.
And Xbox decided in their infinite wisdom to release two things on the same day. Hot Wheels DLC and As Dusk Falls, and now we gotta wait for Pentiment in November, and that's it.
Do they hate Horizon? Do they hate Forza or something? Like, they keep doing this where they're just,
maybe Horizon doesn't need, I don't know, maybe Horizon just doesn't need the extra push like an As Dusk Falls might.
Yeah, that's could be.
So
and then we did see the metrics when even me and Maddie talked about it. We were worried about when maybe they stealth dropped Halo Infinite's multiplayer right around that time during the peak of Forza. But then when we saw like NPDs and engagement, it really didn't affect it the way we thought it would. We were actually surprised by that. So maybe they have the analytics that show that audience, the car venturers don't really, they play.
Well, it's like Ben said, for him, it's like, you can hop into Forza whenever. It's not like you need to play Forza immediately, because it's always going to be there. So I don't know. Maybe I do think it's interesting, because it's like, well, why didn't you just release them like a week apart? Why not Forza this week, As This Falls the next week? Is interesting. And then, so Pentiment at the end of the year, Grounded 1.0, not the best year for Xbox's first party, but what are you going to do about that? We needed a time machine to go back and change this, go back to 2018 and tell Phil, you need to buy before 2018, Phil, because there's this thing that's going to happen in 2020 that's going to change the world, and it's really going to impact devs and how they make games. So you need to buy beforehand and get stuff going and change your plans. But Yeah, no, I expect the Activision Blizzard deal to close next year, and I think they want to get it done before Diablo comes out because, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I think Diablo 4 launching on Game Pass on console and PC, like sandwiched between a Starfield and a Redfall and a Minecraft Legends and like Ghostwire Tokyo and, I believe Team Ninja's Wolong Dynasty is coming out early 2023. Like the beginning of 2023 looks insane for Game Pass. And if you can get that deal done before Diablo 4 comes out, that's just more icing on the cake, in my opinion.
Massive. No, I agree. Let's get Ben in here, man. Like, do you think, one, that the deal could potentially be done earlier in 2022? And if so, does that save Xbox's 2022 to you?
I don't know about save. By the way, I like the way that the person VRG wrote in here and put saved in quotes and then wrote in parentheses in quotes. Anyway, I guess it's because of the audio, whatever. But anyway, I don't know. I don't think it saves it. I hadn't considered the point that Rand said. I'm thinking that like if they can get Modern Warfare on Game Pass, they get the new Warzone on there too. Like, and they put some extra perks in there for Game Pass subscribers to play Warzone. Like, you're never, most of these people are never canceling their Game Pass subscription at that point. But I didn't think about the fact that they got the Sony marketing deal to contend with, and how does that impact that? So I don't know about that. As far as, and I don't know what the rest of Activision's lineup looks like for the rest of the year. Nothing crazy that I can think of that stands out. But as far as do I think they're going to approve the acquisition, I don't know how anybody could possibly know that except for the FTC. I think when Sony says, or when Microsoft says this, Microsoft goes out and says, hey, we might get this approved. What they're really saying is, hey, people at the stockholder meeting and people who are thinking about selling your shares, don't do it yet. And really what I understand is that it's not that the FTC may approve it. It's that Microsoft has filed everything they need to file. And unless they get an objection, it will go through.
Exactly.
And in my opinion, there's no way to predict that. Maybe somebody dotted the wrong I and the FTC wants to be petty and decides that it's not going through yet, or there's a legitimate issue, or they see this Netflix deal and think the same thing that all the analysts are saying and say, oh, you guys are still dabbling around other stuff, you're, whatever. So I don't think there's any way to know. And if they do, I don't really know. It's certainly going to add a lot to their catalog, and it's going to encourage more people to sign up for Game Pass. But I don't know that it changes things in the grander scheme of what we think about Xbox in 5 years, what we think about 2022.
Yeah, valid points, man. Me and you are in alignment here. I think that, Hogue had a great point when we talked about on Defining Duke Ultimate. And look, it sounds nice, for content creators and stuff like that. And I get it. A lot of people really excited about the deal. The potential is tremendous. But from my understanding, it's just what you said, Ben, where it's like, this is just, okay, we've submitted now these documents that you are requested for review. And then once both are agreed upon, then this 30-day timer for review starts off.
Right.
And it doesn't guarantee that everything is smooth and that it's not going to get sent back and there's going to be revision and the going back and forth process. So
it just says, hey, we got our stuff done.
Yeah, we got our stuff done. We're ready to present. It's like submitting, your thesis or your final paper, whatever it is, right? There's still a period of revision and going back and forth that we cannot account for, that we just don't know. So I'm with you, Rand. I'm still going to stay on the conservative side. I'm going to say, because again, legal proceedings, all this stuff takes time, y'all. Now look, if it happens, am I going to be mad that they finalized it in November or whatever? Great. How much impact would it have to save? There's so much complexity because like you said, like the Call of Duty deal is to me the big thing that we don't know. Like them having marketing rights, Microsoft has historically honored stuff like that and have to play it out. And does that mean now that maybe they can't throw it in the Game Pass? I don't know, Rand. Like, is it a situation that, maybe the COD deal with Sony's marketing is till 2024, right? And then maybe it's one of those things that, they still get to market and maybe they can't put it. I don't know. It's going to be very interesting once it closes what changes, especially with COD. But I'm with you, Rand. I think immediately they get an infusion in the arm with content, like it'll be like a Bethesda blog post, and starting now, they're gonna come up with it.
I don't think it'll be a blog post. I think they'll do another roundtable like they did with Bethesda.
We're gonna sit down with Robert Kotick.
Although I don't think Bobby Kotick will be there.
He's gonna be invited to the table.
Kotick's like, see you later. I'm taking my $250 million and I'm walking. You know what? Maybe it's just me. I don't know about you guys.
Let's go.
I am so over this whole Activision Blizzard discussion about like, when's it gonna happen? Like, I see these things. FTC says they could be done, but I just roll my eyes every time I've
been over it since January.
Well, at least with January, you still had like, okay,
the unknown,
the hopefulness and like what could potentially happen. But like, we're here in the dog days of summer, and we've been talking about this and hearing about this since January, and I'm just like, I'm done. Like, I just want this to be over. Like, Bethesda only took 6 months. It was, done and over with, right? Like, this seems to be going on longer, and it's like every single time there's a small thing, like the UK is looking at it, and there's some article, and then people have to say something. Like, I'm just at the point where it's like, please, just let's end it, whether it gets approved or whether they have to shut it down and Microsoft has to sue them or something. Like, let's just have something happen. I'm just over talking about it, maybe it's just me, but I feel because how many times am I going to have to say the same thing? I feel like I'm saying the same thing every time I talk about this.
You know what it is? It's just because, in fairness, I feel, first of all, bro, I feel you. We've been talking about this thing. It feels like we talk about it all the time. And I just think what it is, it's such a cataclysmic deal. Let's be honest. Like, it really hasn't seen anything like this. Because to the point when I remember when the deal was announced, and I've never seen this from Sony. So it was like, oh, yeah, so you're still going to honor Call of Duty coming out on multiple platforms, right? They're still going to, we expect. And then we saw the film post, like, had got off the phone with our good friends at Sony, and I've never seen anything like this. Then the forward-facing Microsoft post where it's like, hey, we don't want to. It's almost, I think me and you've had this discussion. I could say it now, all right. Where it's like, it almost feels like God was this sacrifice to say, wait, we're the good guys. We're not the evil empire that everyone thinks we are. We're looking to share our big games. And
not even that. We're going to keep it on PlayStation, and we're going to bring it to the Switch.
Nintendo had that. I was like, oh, really? I didn't know that. So it's like, bro, it's like they're going above and beyond. So it showed me the seriousness, how much impact, because Microsoft, let's be honest, historically, when, with the Bethesda deal, they made it clear, so Starfield they kept announcing, but moving forward, the only place you can play it was with us. So I just thought it was interesting, this philosophy change. And they used broad terminology like, the big franchises, right? What does that mean? Is it COD, Diablo, or an Overwatch? Is it just COD and Warzone? Is it, what does that mean? So there is an interest. I think what it is, which is exhausting to us, is that we got to keep talking about it, right? But it is interesting, the aftermath. Once it does close, there are a lot of questions that people want to know get answered. I just think that's what it is. And unfortunately, we just going to have to deal with, the is it going through, is it not going through teams? And let's let this thing play out, man. But I'm with you. I just want it to be over so we can move on.
The thing I was thinking, though, is I'm going back on this marketing thing. Just because Sony has the marketing rights doesn't mean that it couldn't be on Game Pass right away. I mean,
I'm not sure.
I guess that's true. I don't know what the deal entails, but I mean, maybe that means they can't run. I don't know what all the marketing deal with Sony is like. Maybe they can't run a commercial with their logo on it or something. But you've had COD games on Xbox all along, even though Sony's always had the marketing rights. What's to say you can't just add it to another service that you have, especially when you own it, as long as you're not attracting people to your service with that product. I mean, it's going to attract people, but if you're not promoting it, if you're not putting it on Monday Night Football with your logo on it, I don't know what all that deal includes.
Yeah, we don't know, but like there was that quote unquote leaked Sony marketing agreement with Resident Evil 8 Village last year that came out. And in that marketing document was,
"Thou shalt not.
You cannot have this game in another subscription." And if you're thinking about it, you have to come to us first, for like up to a year. So I'm just thinking, like, well, I would imagine they would have that sort of clause with Modern Warfare or with like Harry Potter.
Yeah.
you know, Hogwarts Legacy, where for a year it's probably not going to happen. But who knows? Maybe the deal closes and Phil gets on the phone and is like, "Listen, we need to renegotiate." You know, because there's the idea that like, we would need Hogue Law here, right, for this.
We definitely would need Hogue for this.
Like with when they bought Bethesda and Deathloop and Ghostwire Tokyo came out on PlayStation only. Was there a scenario where Xbox could have canceled those exclusive arrangements with PlayStation and released it on Xbox? They probably could have, but it would probably have cost a significant amount of money, right, to do so, to void the contract.
Yeah.
To the point where Xbox probably was like, it's not worth it to do that, right? It's not worth it to do that for Deathloop. But is it worth it to do it for Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2?
Yeah.
That's the question. You might then think it may not be worth it for Deathloop, but for Call of Duty, maybe it is. And I don't know. I mean, it's just speculation. I would, you know, we don't know anything with the finer details of these, you know, contracts they all write up. But I would hazard a guess that Sony's Sony has it probably ironclad in there, but like, no, it's not showing up on no competing streaming, you know, subscription platform. Yeah. But you never know. Maybe something does happen afterwards.
And that's the thing, because of the importance of the scope of what COD means. I know Microsoft wants to play nice, you know, for the FTC and everyone, that is still going to remain on other platforms. But now what has changed, Game Pass is such a game changer for them. And let's be honest, Ben said it excellently. I feel like if they were somehow able to contractually edit and say that they can get Game Pass, or just, they didn't even have to edit, let's just say they could still do it, right? That is a huge boon to the Game Pass. I know so many people that all they play is COD, Madden, 2K, or whatever every year, and that's it. They will stay subscribed to Game Pass for some COD to maintain their service. They will stay. Like that is, see, that's the key. And does Microsoft aggressively push that aspect is the interesting point. Maybe they can't, but if they do, it would be interesting to me. They may not get the exclusivity, but I think they look at that Game Pass and say, hey, maybe we need to revisit. We'll see. That's the interesting part.
I mean, if Game Pass just says, okay, you got a Game Pass subscription, you get a free skin every month, or you get a free battle pass every season, or whatever, like, there's no question where I'm playing it at that point.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm not even somebody who I'm not COG over here spending big bucks on stuff all the time, but I'm not a microtransaction guy, but certainly I'm somebody who buys battle passes and stuff for games I play a lot. So it'd keep me there.
Fair enough. Hey, you're a COD, right? You still play consistently for someone, right?
I don't play as much. I got real tired when all the hacking stuff was going on, and I just but I've got thousands of hours in the Warzone for sure. So
yeah, no, absolutely. It's gonna be interesting, man. One to watch, one to monitor. But I agree, both of you. You know, let's just everybody just chill. That it's gonna happen in a month and 30 days. Let the proceedings continue. But that's what I got. A new one that came across the line real quick today, actually, fresh off the press, is Discord coming to Xbox. Connect your worlds. Discord voice chat comes to Xbox consoles for Xbox insiders, and the update pretty much gives that highly requested feature. When you're playing on your console, you'll be able to see who's in the call, who's speaking, adjust the sound switch between Discord voice and Xbox game chat, and then you can link your Discord account to your Xbox, man. So what do you think about this? I want to start with you, man. You play on PC a lot. I mean, PC community, Discord's big. You know, it's a big deal. So do you view this as such, and is anything surprise you here?
No, I mean, it's great. I think everything about it's great. I want Discord to be everywhere. Because like you said, I do play on Discord a lot. And even when I'm playing on console, sometimes I'm playing with people who are on PC. So I'm always on Discord if I can be. And we all know, anybody who's ever played on a console while they're playing Discord knows that struggle of finding your earbuds, putting one up in underneath your headphones. Yeah, exactly. So I would love for that to just go away, and you could just talk to your buddies you're playing with, especially as we enter into this, you know, brave new world of crossplay everywhere on everything. That's where we want it. But the only thing I'm disappointed about with this, and I know it's in the insiders, it's new, at least we have the functionality, is like, it seems a little, I think I watched Jez's video earlier, actually. It's a little clunky to still get connected. You still got to use your phone to connect to the channel, even though you're on your Xbox. So it's not perfect, but it's way better than it was. The last thing I'll say, I'm happy that even though Sony struck up this partnership, Sony's got a stake in Discord now, whatever, they're still working with Xbox. And I want them all. I want Discord. Like, Discord is where we should all be talking, in my opinion. They've got some of the best sound quality. Anytime I'm on party chat with somebody on Xbox or PlayStation, I'm like, are we in 1996 here? Like, what's going on?
Are you master race shaming?
Yes.
See, I gotta disagree with Ben here because I think Xbox Live Party Chat has better audio quality than Discord.
You're wrong. You're wrong, Chad.
Let's go.
I guess it depends. Are we in the LSM server that has 1,000,002 boosted?
No.
So the audio quality is all the way up.
I'm in my little server that has like 50 people and no boost. It's still. I'll tell you what, I've talked to people because I use Xbox Party Chat on my PC too, and if you can compare that, I've been in a
PC Party Chat is yeah. No, I'm with you there. PC Party Chat.
Yeah, I don't use PC. I'm on the console Party Chat, and it's
console. Yeah, I don't use console Party Chat as much, but I've been in the past, so maybe it's better now. But I don't know. My Discord quality for me is way better, and the functionality is just easier. I don't get disconnected all the time, so I don't know. Either way, I want Discord everywhere.
I feel. I'm actually with both of you guys as far as PC Party Chat being less quality and then Xbox Party Chat being high quality. But finish your point, Rand. I'm sorry.
Oh, I mean, I think this is great. I think this is a step in the right direction. And nobody thought this was coming to Xbox.
Same.
There was no leaks about this, right? No Jez Corden, Jeff Grubb, Tom Henderson leaks. It's just out of nowhere. By the way, it's the voice chat's here for the insiders. Everyone's like, excuse me?
Yeah.
What? Because PlayStation announced their, last year, they're like, we got a partnership with Discord and you can link your accounts, which Xbox had forever. And the one thing I'll say is Ben's right. Like, I was looking into it. I haven't been on my Xbox today to test it out. It is a tad bit convoluted, right? You need to open up
Get your string and cup.
Well, you need to open it up and on the party chat, and then there's a QR code you scan with your phone, which opens up the Discord app, which then you link your accounts. Even if you linked your accounts before, you have to link them again.
Relink again. I was like, come on.
So, and then once you're kind of done that and you join a call on the mobile app or even on the PC, there'll be an option to send it to the Xbox. And then basically you can close the app on your phone or whatever, and you'll be in the Discord call on the Xbox. But like Ben said, this is much needed. You're in an era of crossplay, right? All these games you can play together from Xbox to PC to PlayStation to Switch. And Discord was the way people would communicate, but it wasn't on the consoles. So it was for me, Cog, you've seen my setup, right? My PC and my consoles are far apart. So I'm not doing Discord. So I'm only doing Xbox Live Party Chat. But with this, I can even though it's convoluted maybe for the first time setup or whatever.
Sure.
It's really not, whatever. It's probably take a couple seconds. You can get in there and you can do this. This is a very good first step. Hopefully they can improve upon it, make it less cumbersome. Hopefully PlayStation gets it in the near future. I would imagine it might be the similar setup to what Xbox has here. I don't think PlayStation will have a native app. I think this is how it'll work.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think this is exactly what people wanted because millions of people use Discord to talk and game, and it's just a step in the right direction, man. I actually never thought this would happen. I was like,
me too.
Remember, because we went from, what was it, last year where Microsoft was going to buy Discord?
Yeah.
But the talk, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And then that fell through, and then Sony invested in Discord, and it was okay. And then, so here we are, and we have Discord voice chat. So it's great.
No, absolutely. Not too much to add on it. The tech in me, the geek in me, smiling from ear to ear. I didn't think this was going to happen. Yes, I'm not happy with the initial setup, but in fairness, it is an insider program. There still could be tweaks. They're going to take feedback. I'm one of those guys that I am you're the Billion Man gamer score. In real life, I'm the gamer score of the insider. My score literally dominates everybody on my friend list because always give them some feedback. I'm like, this need to be fixed, that need to be fixed. And I give them so much hell on PC, Game Pass stuff. They didn't like my review. I was like, you sure you're asking me what I think? Because I'm going to tell you not what you need to hear. So what you want to hear, what you need to hear. So I always tell them, like, you guys are lagging behind. But the key for me is this, and Rand, you're going to laugh. Like, y'all know me. When I'm not happy, I have no problem leaving. And what happened was the Xbox One generation, I wasn't happy with 30 frames. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't happy with a lot of things. I know I'm a big Destiny guy. Bonds has got me to get a rig. And it was under my impression to make me a better content creator, which it did. I had to really invest into content creation and work on my PC. But as a PC guy, I was like, okay, I got to try Destiny now that I'm here at 60. Oh my God, I never went back. And once I went there, everybody's on Discord. That is the de facto voice chatting platform. You set up, it's easy, you create your rooms. Even from a content creation standpoint, when the Lords and I, we go to shows, it's like the devs are like, here's our Discord.
Yep.
Right? So you got the developer community, you got the gamers, the PC community. And if you're trying to promote, like Ben eloquently said, crossplay as the future of gaming, you can't have crossplay where the groups are not talking to each other, on their respective platforms. And I want this thing to continue to iterate. Ideally, in a perfect world, even if they can't integrate the Xbox party chat on a console level with that, I get that. That may be two different systems. But I would like, that party chat system on Discord where someone can send me a Discord invite on PC if I have the app open on Xbox. I get it. We create a similar party chat format or something on a base level so that you can organize and stuff like that. I think this is a step in the right direction. Super excited. I didn't think this would happen in Xbox only because of the PlayStation partnership, like you guys said. And yeah, I'm gonna continue to get feedback. Get ready, Xbox. Shout out. I'm gonna be hitting y'all up with any bug, any issue. I want this thing to be pristine because I really like crossplay and I really like where this thing is heading. So good news overall. This one we'll run through really quick. This one's actually for Maddie, man. I do wish she was here for this one. And just really quickly, Deathloop creators Dinga Bakaba and Dana Nightingale, they basically had an article out, and basically I think it was a rock paper shotgun, and they talked about how they may never make a linear campaign like Dishonored again, and that's fine. There was some interesting quotes there about mission structure and linear campaign, what they learned from Dishonored. They feel like doing things in a traditional fashion, mission 1, mission 2, mission 3, it's like a step backward for them. They felt like they learned a lot of things during this Dishonored process. And then they talked about they wanted to make a game with a lot of flavor. Polarizing was the word they used quite a few times. They said they understood that it's not necessarily for everyone. Mr. Matty plays. He does not like Deathloop. But he wanted to make sure that some people would love it. And actually, we had a good surprise, and a lot of people loved it. And that the theme from one of the analysts they work with. So, yeah, this is an interesting comment. Obviously, Matty on the show here feels very strongly about the direction of why he fell in love with an Arkane game and Dishonored and the traditional RPG, mechanics. And this is something, I know he would have loved to comment on. But really quickly, we could just blast through this one. What do you guys feel when you hear about this, saying, hey, this is the direction they like going? And then obviously we hear about Redfall, another one of their games, not traditional in the linear aspect. Does this surprise you? Are you concerned? Or, hey, you guys like this direction Arkane's in? And anyone can jump in at this point.
I have enough faith in Arkane where I'm good with whatever they decide, right? Like even because they mentioned like they mentioned like not linear like Dishonored, right? Which Dishonored is very much like level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4, level 5, right? Where Deathloop was still linear, but it wasn't as linear as the other ones are. And we haven't played Redfall yet, so we don't know how linear progression works in that. But I think Arkane's one of the best studios around. So I am down for whatever they make. And if they feel like we aren't going to go super linear like Dishonored was, then okay, fine, hit me up. Like, unlike Maddie, I actually really enjoyed Deathloop because I have taste. Ooh! You know what I mean?
All right, man, I got you. I'll fight your fight for you. Don't worry, I got you.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah. So I'm not too concerned about it. I guess it depends on like what type. If they're going and be like, hey, we're making Minecraft, I'll be like, well, wait, well, you know, like, I guess
this is the direction we decided was best for us.
It has, you know, but what I think whatever they make is like I'll be good with. So I don't really have any concerns about you know their future direction.
Ben, concerns, questions when the devs say this?
No, I'm pretty much on board with Rand. I love Arkane. I absolutely adore Dishonored, to my great and utter shame. I still haven't played Dishonored 2. And I don't know why. I have it. I own it like 3 times, but I still haven't played it. But someday I will. I like Deathloop. I didn't finish it because I had to edit the spoiler cast for Sacred Symbols, and I'm super sensitive to spoilers. And if I just don't care anymore. So for me, that's why every time you ask about like, oh, can we do a spoiler cast on this game? I'm like, well, I guess I better play that real quick. So like, I'll like blast through stuff all the time.
I feel you. I appreciate you, man.
But I have faith in them. I really did like the structure of things like Dishonored, where, you know, it's very linear and there's still some branching paths there, especially with, you know, multiple endings and everything. But as far as what they want to do, as long as they're making good narrative with at least above average gameplay, I'm on board.
Oh, no, fair enough. Don't have too much to add. Just wanted to defend my boy. Look, you know, I gotta play Deathloop, so because
that's your game of the year last year.
Yeah, it is, because I'm waiting for Game Pass, which I thought I'd be playing it by now, and this contract's not up. So that's how my frustration with contractual stuff. But look, you know, everyone that I trust, everyone that feels the way I feel about stuff and knows my taste, the consensus has been, Cog, you're gonna love it, right? But, you know, I got to defer to my boy. And the reason why I defer to Matty on this case is only because when I do hear a developer that I love and he loves Arkane on a different level, you know what I'm saying? I'm very new to them. So when I hear his frustration with like they kind of changing the direction of what he fell in love with to this new direction, and we use the flannel as a joke, like he was the first person with this flannel that nobody liked it. He liked it. Then they got popular. Then they start making Crocs. and then now the world likes it, and now he's like, yo, but I liked y'all when y'all did Phantoms instead of when y'all did Crocs. I gotta do some Crocs slander. I'm just being silly, but no, I get it. And you always worry about the casualist, quote unquote, I don't say call it casualist, but direction change, right? And that's part I empathize with. So I was curious. I would love to have seen his face and see if his heart sunk a little bit more.
Yeah, I'm sure it did.
I'm sure it did. Matty, get heal up, man, because I gotta get your reactions to this badly. But that's all I got on that. And another one that was a quick hitter. See Projekt Red, y'all. Shares down 75%. Launch of Cyberpunk. Thoughts, anyone?
They're fine. I mean, their shares may be down, but they got money in the bank. They broke even. They made money on the first day of launch of Cyberpunk. They're not hurting. You know, I know everybody's talking, oh, is it time for them to be acquired? They don't need to be acquired. If they want to be acquired, they could be easily. But no, they're not hurting. Nothing's going to suffer as far as financially for their next game. Their shares, all that means is somebody could buy them out in a hostile takeover, I suppose. But even still, I think they're fine. They've got money in their pockets.
And before Red goes, I forgot, let me read Beloved Emperor's comment in relationship to the news, which is, hello, herniated Matty and acquisition Cog. This week's information came from Business Insider Poland that CD Projekt Red has lost over 75% of its stock valuation since the launch of Cyberpunk 2077. With news like this, I could only think that to the many times you gents have commented on Xbox affinity, it's actually me, towards acquiring companies when they are down on their luck financially. I've always said this. Granted, no movement can happen on the Xbox side until the Activision Blizzard King closes, but do the Dukes feel CD Projekt Red could be towards the top of Phil's list or not so much? Thanks for the great content each week. P.S. Matty, I hope the back pain isn't too severe and wish you a speedy recovery. Also, Cog, enjoyed the plethora of new currencies they added to Destiny this week. Yeah, Solstice. Happy Solstice. Yeah, I don't want to even touch Solstice just yet, but I'll get in there. But Ram, now with an additional context to what Ben said, you know, does that change your feeling about, you know, Xbox potentially pursuing them?
I just think they were overvalued to begin with. At one point, they were valued more highly than Ubisoft was. And I think like this is kind of them leveling out to maybe what they're really worth. Yeah, Cyberpunk didn't help, but I still think Cyberpunk sold quite well. Probably not as well as they originally forecasted. And when Witcher 4 comes out, I'm sure that's going to be a smash hit. Well, if they do, they got to give the time for Witcher 4.
Yeah, they better get it.
You can't repeat the situation yet with Cyberpunk. But I mean, as we saw, stock price gets low, people come a calling, right? So they lose 75% of their value. Sony might be out there sniffing. Microsoft, Sony? But then it's like, does Microsoft? That's the thing I think of. Like when you think of what Microsoft has, right, with Bethesda and soon to have Activision plus their studios they bought before. Do they need? Is like CD Projekt Red fit like a need for them at this point? Like you already have all these RPG studios. Do you want another studio that is going to take another 5 years to make a game? Like to me, like we've seen with Xbox in 2022, we talked about it earlier about it being a bad year. Like what could save Xbox? And I think Microsoft probably needs to buy more studios that are more well equipped to make more than one project at a time. Whereas like you buy CD Projekt Red, yeah, whenever Witcher 4 is going to come out and it's going to be amazing, but it's kind of like Bethesda, and not like Bethesda overall, but Bethesda Todd Howard studio, where it's like Starfield's 2022, but then Elder Scrolls 6 is 2026, and then Fallout 4 is 2030, where it's like you get it, and it's like, okay, but now you have to wait 4 or 5 years for the game. And with Microsoft having all these studios, do they want something like this? Does the stock price being lower actually be like, oh, we wanted them before and now we can grab them? Or do you take the money that you would have spent and be like, you know what, these other 5 studios that are available, we could go get? I guess it really depends on their targets. Like, what is Microsoft going to be targeting after Activision Blizzard, right? We don't know that. Remember I told you before the Activision Blizzard deal went down that me and Jez had heard that Microsoft was going to make a splash in mobile, that they were going to make a play in the mobile space. Well, we didn't expect it to be king, but it was king. So the question is, where's Microsoft's next movement? Do they go after some Japanese studios, Japanese publisher? So we just don't know like what Microsoft's targeting afterwards, after all this. So maybe it is CD Projekt Red. Maybe they're just like, you know what? Add them to the list. You know, you can get their T-shirt, Cock. Look at the one you got on right now, right? In Lord Acquisition. So
I'm all about the acquisitions. But no, I mean, I feel you. I mean, not too much to add. Just that you made a great point, Rand, in the sense that I think sometimes as gamers we tend to gamify things and look at purely from our selfish reasonings. Oh, yo, Witcher would be crazy and they'd own this. But you make good points. You know, what's the true business need, right? The true business need sometimes is to fill deficiencies. And like you said, mobile gamers, hardcore gamers don't want to hear that. But that is something that Microsoft, they're looking to get into, especially with a cloud initiative, right? And streaming and things of that nature, and just putting their stamp in other places. And I'm totally with you on the point about production and studios that can pump out stuff, because like you said, you know, we saw in 2022 what could happen, right? When the Redfall and the Starfield delay, now you kind of caught with your pants down. There's really nothing else. So that's why Lord Acquisition here wants them to focus on deficiencies, and also whatever you do acquire, if they can produce content in a timely fashion or have multiple projects. Like, look at what Obsidian's doing, and there's so much going on. It's Grounded going on, and people can laugh, but Pentamit's happening, and you know, there's all these things happening. You know what I mean? I think that suits the Game Pass model where they're kind of self-sufficient, especially Bethesda. Like, there's so much going on. It was Machine Games, this one, that one, you know. So I think that is more the play. Or selfishly, the only gamer thing I want from them is a fighting game studio. I think they're just woefully deficient there. It's embarrassing to me that Killer Instinct, that was under their umbrella, still has no developer to make for. So CD Projekt Red, to me, doesn't fit the bill, no disrespect. You know what I'm saying? Even when they were at its peak, yeah, Witcher, stuff like that, but like, the production of how long these games take to make, they're already in a waiting pattern with the 2018 studios. We're still waiting for State of Decay 3. We're still waiting, right? I think they need, that's why the Activision Blizzard is so huge, because the minute the switch is flipped, boom, infusion, right? Infusion of all these games and properties and stuff like that. So that, to me, I think from a business side is probably what they're looking at. And hey, I won't say no, a Japanese studio, but CD Projekt Red, not so much.
I just looked because of what Rand said about their stock price being overinflated, and I agreed with that initially, and then I looked at it and I agreed with it even more, because if you look, like, their stock price, even after The Witcher came out, was still a little lower than they are now, and it was only leading up to Cyberpunk that their stock price really flew through the roof. Mm-hmm. And so, like, they're just back down to where they were. They're not hurting, in my opinion. They're going to make their next game with the same amount of money they had to make Cyberpunk. So, yeah.
No, fair enough. Talk about Skate real quick. Skate going free to play. Shout out to Switch Bitch Skates. I like that name. What's good, Dukes? It has been announced that EA Skate is going free to play, and I see a lot of people upset with this. Rightfully so, as this is EA we're talking about. However, I find myself willing to hear them out. As someone with 1,000+ hours in Skater XL between Steam and Xbox, I've been starved for content since the release of the game in 2018. If I could get a skateboarding game with consistent content updates at the end of this, I'll take the deal with the devil. What are your thoughts about this? And does COG have any history with skateboarding games? It's a good one. I'll jump in. Shout out to Switch Mitch Skates. It's interesting because I do have my eye on the skate one, because shout out to my good friend Duke Dan McCullough. He was actually now heading that studio. And he was formerly the head of Xbox Live.
Yeah, he was, yeah.
Isn't that crazy? Like, he went from the head of Xbox Live to now saying, you know what, I want to do game development. So there's a part of me, yes, COG has a little inherent bias stuff. Of course, I want my guy to win, but I'm not, to be honest, the reception about this free to play wasn't nice. People were like, bro, what's going on? And I see your boy Red. I see that boy Jess Gordon put Dan on the spot. Like, yo, Dan, can you comment on this direction? I don't know if you caught that tweet, Red, from Jess. Yeah, he did ask. So, look, I don't know enough about it to make definitive statements that, it's going to be a disaster. But the initial impressions were not positive. And people are worried, rightfully so. Microtransactions having their tendrils and everything. Obviously, we know the model. In defense of the model, people, it does work for some. If the game is good, right, and the core foundation is there, and they have enough monetization content to continue to play, Halo Infinite. But, you know what I'm saying? Like, look, people will gravitate to us. One thing about gamers, they talk, but you see some cool skins and some great crossovers, and then all of a sudden stuff goes out the window. So to me, it's going to be on them to be very clear with the messaging on how it works, the execution of it. And to his question in reference to skate games, not so much. I'm old school, so I used to play I play a little Tony Hawk, but I used to play like games like way back, like 720, and you know what I'm saying, in the arcade. Like I like the arcadey style stuff. I think what it is, it got too complex for me. I got old and I had to learn stuff, and I'm like, damn, it's too complicated. I can't do it anymore. And I'll leave it to these young kids that it truly, to me, represents, in a good way, skate culture, which is just, it got like a fighting game to me. I'm like, damn, I can't pull off these tricks like I used to and all that. So I come from Ben, like, California games and doing that, and I'm like, oh, it's simple, it's fun, it's easy. Mm-hmm. Give me the arcadey stuff, and then I might jump in. That's me. So, but I'm curious about what you think, Ben, in reference to skate. Are you a skate guy, or what do you feel about this potential free to play situation?
I played Skate 1 and 2. I never was as into them as I was into the Tony Hawk series. The original Tony Hawk 1 and 2, I probably have more hours in those games combined than the last 2 years of games combined. I don't know, like, wow. Just insane. I mean, I love those games. I was also like a kid and had nothing else to do except go to school, so had plenty of time to play everything.
Nice.
But I don't love the idea of it going free to play. I'm like trying to think of how they could screw it up and make it worse by that. And the only thing I could think is if they lock stages or something behind extra content, if they lock extra actual content behind a monetary wall. I don't think they're going to do that. I think they'll probably put out some kind of battle pass, or they're probably going to put out, I'm sure they're going to put out skins, and because all the skateboarding games, that's always been a staple of them, is that you got different skins for your skaters, you got different boards and decks and trucks you can put on. So like, I'm sure that those things are going to be there, but I don't see that hampering my enjoyment of the actual gameplay. If they start locking off courses behind paid content, then yeah, I'm going to be a little irritated. But I don't know. With skating games, any new skating games, I mean, even the remake of Tony Hawk 1 and 2, like I went through all the stages, I beat them, I was done with the game. Giving me a reason to come back to the game that I didn't have to pay for, maybe that works for me. I'm not really scared off by most free-to-play games. Here's the last thing I'll say. If a game is going to go free-to-play, it's either good or it goes away. So as long as the game is good, if it's free-to-play, I'm willing to put up with it, rather than have a game that I'm interested in for a month and then disappear from. So if they keep content rolling, then I'll probably be in. But it doesn't bother me. I don't love it, but it doesn't bother me.
Fair enough. Ryan, let me ask you this. Are you like a skating game guy? I never asked you this.
Nope. Never played any of the skates. Never been a big Tony Hawk guy. I mean, I played Tony Hawk like 1 and 2 back in the day, like everybody else, but I didn't play the remake. So I don't really have any big feelings on this either. I'm not going to play this regardless. Right? I wasn't going to play it anyways. Like whether it was $70 or free to play, I'm not interested.
So
period.
Even free to play doesn't move you. Wow.
No, it doesn't. And like Ben, I'm not like that. Like you hear the dirty word free to play. I'm not like, oh my God, get it away from me. Right. Like I loved Call of Duty Warzone. I played Call of Duty Warzone for 200 hours. And guess what? I didn't spend a single dollar. And that's
content creator ran not spending any money on Warzone.
Well, what am I going to spend money? Like skins and we've had this talk, me and you.
I've heard you guys.
I don't get. I don't know. Like
you deserve to live the fighter life with
bro.
Your
When I don't care what my character, you know Ben.
You don't want to look like Snoop Dogg? What's wrong with you?
Well, here's the thing. I ain't paying to look like Snoop Dogg though. when Cog got me to play Destiny 2 again, he wouldn't play with me unless I spruced up my guardian because he's like, you got to look fly like me, and I'm like, I ain't spending money to look like that.
You're like, right? I'm not fly like you. I'm new.
Yeah. I'm the type of person that when I play Mass Effect, I use the default character.
Yeah.
Oh no.
I don't care what he looks like. In fact, I think the default character looks the best. So like,
okay,
I'm playing Call of Duty. I'm not spending $10 for a red gun. Right. Yeah. I don't care what it is. So I play all these free to play games and I'm not spending a single dime. And I'm like, I'm great. I got 200 hours out of great enjoyment of Warzone for free. You know what I mean? So I think you can do free to play well. I mean, there's obviously like the mobile free to play kind of thing where they like gate lock levels where it's like, you've played your limit of levels today. Please buy more stars to continue or whatever it is, right? I don't think that'll be into this, but no, it's just I sort of view this as like this is the direction the industry is heading.
Mm-hmm.
It's just free to play, especially for games that have a large multiplayer component. And a newsflash, EA's making this. So, I mean,
yeah,
it's kind of like, I don't know if this was expected, but like it kind of fits the bill. Because I guess the question is, you're bringing back Skate in 2022 and EA's selling it for $70. Are enough people going to buy it $70 for it to be a worthwhile, venture for EA?
Yeah. I mean, let's be honest, Rand. You yourself said you would have you have no interest either way, but you'd have less interest in $70.
Well, yeah. So it's like maybe they're just like, we'll just let it so anybody can play it, and that the people that really want to spend money can spend money. I guess it depends on what they lock. Like if they're locking levels and progression, that's not good. But if it's just customization, I don't really see an issue with that. But then people freak out about customization and all these games, and that's not something I care about. So I think it's just this is another example of where the industry is kind of headed. And I know, like, some people don't like that. Some people don't like the fact that people don't want to that people won't pay for stuff, but the market kind of dictates these things, and the market dictates that, like, if you got a multiplayer game or whatever, like, it needs to be free in this day and age because people are just kind of won't pay for it. So I guess I'm lucky that I have no interest in skate at all. Because I mean, if you were like a diehard skate guy and you're like, it's coming back, but then you hear the free to play news, does that demoralize you? I don't know,
Yeah, no, it's a good question. I'm sorry, Ben, if I interrupted you earlier. If you want to say the additional point, but yeah, I mean, it's a good question. It's a good question. But to your point, Rand, like, yeah, this is where the industry's going, and whether we like it or not, it's going to be interesting to see how it's presented. And like Ben said, the key for them is when you're free to play, the core game has to be good. If it's not good, no one's going to care, no one's going to stick around, and it's going to die. So,
well, let me ask this question, Ben. Do you think Skate would have come back if it wasn't free to play?
Not from EA.
Well, I mean, that's the only way it could come back. I mean, EA owns it, so I mean,
probably not. I mean, they had to have seen what the Tony Hawk remakes did, right? They're the remake of 1 and 2. Now, granted, there's nostalgia built in there, and that's an actual remake, so it's a little different. But I don't know. I don't know if they planned on this from the start or if they shifted midway through. I think that they definitely have the data from the old skate games and know exactly how much they made on those, and they know the industry. They know that skateboarding games, while we have a few that have, sold well over the last few years, it's not like that's the industry zeitgeist right now. So like you're still taking a gamble on a new game and an old franchise, even if it's beloved, it's still a gamble. So no, I think you're right. I don't think we would have got a new skate if it weren't free to play, and I don't think it would have been as polished of a game as it probably will be in order to be a good free to play game. Yeah, I think you're right.
Cool. Speaking of free to play industry changing and things that are going in a direction, I actually missed something. I wanted to talk about Minecraft, Minecraft and NFTs. So it looks like they are in the news right now. Minecraft is saying no to NFTs, and they recently put out an article written by the Minecraft staff. And yeah, they said, hello, everyone. We received some feedback from members of the community asking for clarification and transparency regarding Mojang Studios and Minecraft's position on NFTs and blockchains. While we're in the process of updating our usage guidelines to offer more precise guidance on new technologies, we wanted to take the opportunity to share our view that integrations of NFTs and Minecraft are generally not something we will support or allow. Rand Outdoor, Minecraft making a stance against NFTs. Thoughts?
Good. I've still yet to see anybody come up with a valid reason why we need NFTs in gaming, right? And I know that was kind of the big push, and Ubisoft got a lot of backlash, but then a lot of companies saw the backlash and were like, hold on, wait a minute. But I think this is the right thing to do because Minecraft is the biggest game in the world, one of the biggest games in the world, and it also has a very young, impressionable audience. Phil's talked about NFTs before and how he views them as very exploitative in their current iteration. Mm-hmm. So yeah, this seems like a good thing. Like if game companies kind of just rally around and be like, no, there's no use from here. The money and the investment that some of these venture capitalists have to invest in these things, and we'll all dry up and whatever. I don't get it. I don't get like the whole thing around NFTs and why they'd be so great and why we need them. And I've never come across an argument or a reason someone was like, okay, yes, this is something good. It always just kind of seems as it was just like the word of the day, sort of, right? So, good on Mojang to basically get out in front of this and say, nope, not happening. No NFTs here. So,
Ben, the thoughts on Minecraft's stance being very transparent here?
Yeah, I'm pretty much dead on with Rand. I mean, you've got too many kids, and there's already too many microtransactions that can happen in Minecraft, and you've got too many imaginary kids, that may spend money too. But
that was a shot.
A little bit.
Yeah, I may have had an imaginary son that bought all some mobile games. Don't judge me. Hey, hold on, for the record, LSM community, I feel remorseful when I saw somebody come like, Cog is promoting, and listen, I thoroughly admit I had a problem, bro. It was bad. And I knew to myself, like, I have to stop. I have to get out of here. That I just lucked out with a situation that was to my benefit. But be clear, COG recognizes that was not good. And I had an addictive problem with mobile games. So the last thing I need to be growing up in this era with this stuff. But anyway, continue.
No, I just think it's, I had the NFTs presented to me in a different way because my buddy, and Dustin actually brought this up, my buddy used to do the Star Wars mobile trading card app, and he made, I don't know, somewhere between 10 and 20 grand on it, and just buying and selling. And that, like, there's no difference between what he did and NFTs really, except that NFTs are striking up a new group of evangelistic scammers. And so I don't like the NFT community. By the way, I block at least 3 people every day because I just get randomly tagged with on Twitter.
Yeah, you get
yeah.
I get the bots with the NFT bots.
Even if it's not a bot, if somebody tags me in a post about NFTs, I just block them because I know that they don't actually know me and don't give a shit about what I think. So anyway, my point is, yeah, Minecraft. When I jumped in, I used to play Minecraft a ton in alpha. When I jumped in with my little cousin and it was a first person shooter, I was like, what mod is this? We don't need NFT mods and, ways for kids to spend more of their parents' money without them knowing about it. So I'm basically with Rand. I could have just said that.
No, you're good. Yeah, great explanation. Don't have too much more to add. You guys are kind of on fire with this. And look, this is going to be a big challenge for the NFT industry because gaming right now is not seeming to be willing to play ball with this in any shape or fashion. A lot of the gaming community feel it is exploitative. And, right now, the resistance is so strong. I was actually surprised because I could tell video game companies want to do it. Mm-hmm. Some of them want to do it. But the resistance to it is so strong that they are bending the knee and say, hey, we don't need this level of smoke. We won't revisit. Even remember Stalker ran, right? Remember Stalker was even flirting at one point, and then it was like, oh, okay, back to the drawing board. Let's not do this. So, yeah, it's going to be an uphill battle in gaming for sure. So that's all I got to it, but I definitely didn't want to miss that. Grounded, getting an animated show by the writer of Star Wars, the Clone Wars, Brent Friedman. Shout out to Real Radic, Hey Dukes, with Grounded being adapted into an animated series and Amazon's Fallout show beginning filming. Microsoft is gearing up for more of their IPs to be adapted into film and TV. Nintendo, Sony, and the rest of the industry are doing the same. But don't we have to give the Don Matrick some credit here? He established Xbox Entertainment Studios back in 2012 with a goal of adapting their IP into film and TV, essentially what is happening now in the industry. Unfortunately, it was short-lived after Don got fired. But was Don ahead of his time? For all the shit the guy gets, I have given him some credit for seeing how all of the big publishers are keen to adapt their IP and multimedia projects now more than ever. Now in 2022 and beyond, are you excited with the idea of more Xbox Bethesda IP being adapted, including games from Activision Blizzard? With the recent successes of Arkane, Sonic 2, and Uncharted this year, is it wise for Microsoft to keep doing these adaptations to strengthen their IP and Xbox brand? Rand Al Thor, was the Don ahead of his time? Do we got to bend the knee?
Look, I don't like giving any credit to Don Matrick, okay? I mean, there are some people now that will pivot and say the Xbox One DRM strategy from 2013 was actually great and future-proof, and Don Matrick and Xbox were ahead. I mean, you could maybe say some of it was at other time, like Kinect. People were like, "Oh my God, Kinect! You want something that listens to you in your living room?" And then here, you got Alexa and all these products that basically do that to you.
Dude.
So it's like
Kinect-like.
It happened. Look, I don't want to give Don Matrick any credit. I don't.
Red. He was a visionary.
Was he though?
Did we burn him at the stake too soon?
No, they couldn't get rid of him fast enough. So, I mean, I guess
you didn't like TV mentioned in all your press conferences 1,000 times. You didn't like the excitement of those burps every single time. I'm sorry. Continue.
Yeah, he was so forward-looking, he almost destroyed the entire brand in one fell swoop. Such a forward-looking guy. It's like, what? Screw the gaming segment. We're going TV. Yeah, no, I think it makes sense. I don't think it really made a lot of sense in 2012 or 2013 because there wasn't a variety of platforms that you could sell your stuff to. Yeah, Netflix was around, but they haven't even really started like their original programming really yet. There wasn't any really good competitors. Like now, you could have like Netflix. You could go to Amazon. You could go to Apple. You could go to Hulu. You still have some of the cable channels. So it's like now there's more places you can go to. CGI has also gotten a lot better, so you can actually make more of a maybe you couldn't make the Halo show in 2013, but in 2022 you can. I do think it's the next step though, the transmedia stuff where it's like the game and then the companion piece with the TV, and PlayStation's getting heavy into that. They got the Last of Us show, the Ghost of Tsushima movie, the Uncharted movie, the Horizon show, the God of War show, which I think is going to be at Amazon. So like, it's like they set up the games first and the franchises, and then moved into the media. And it's almost sort of seemed like Xbox wanted to skip the game part and go right into the media part, right? Where it was almost like the gaming part was secondary, and the main thing was like, we want to get into film and movies first, right? So yeah, no, like I will die before I give Don Matrick any credit. I will die before I give that man a single ounce of credit.
Ooh, fair enough, man. But to the second part of the question before I pass it to Ben, do you think it's wise for Microsoft to keep doing these adaptations to kind of strengthen the IP of the brand?
Yeah, I don't see. Look, unless we're gonna say that the Halo TV show took resources away from Halo Infinite, the game, and that's one of the reasons why it's in the state it currently is, then I would say no. But do we think that's the reason why Halo's in the bad shape it is right now? I don't think so. So it's kind of like I've seen today where Microsoft announcing the Discord thing, right? And I saw people be like, they can't release any games, but they release Discord. It's like Xbox Game Studios has nothing to do with the Discord thing. They're total separate teams. Like, I would understand your outrage.
Fanboy though. Why they gotta have that voice?
Because they do. Because I would understand the outrage if like Obsidian was, we got to take Obsidian off of Avowed so they can make the Discord app and stuff. Yeah. I get it. Like, but these are two totally unrelated things made by two totally unrelated teams. Like, there's no correlation. So I don't really think them working on a Fallout TV show is going to impact them working on the Fallout game. So I'd be all for it, personally.
No doubt. Mr. Ben, man, like where we at with this? Was the Don ahead of his time, and should Microsoft start with these adaptations?
Two things. One, I'm with Rand. Don Matrick doesn't get any credit from me.
Yes,
I was there. All right. We were all the three of us were there. We remember. No. The second thing about that part of it is that I have a little bit of a bias towards this question because Radek, the guy who wrote in, I give him a lot of shit because he's just a massive troll. And and he's always like, he's one of those guys who goes to see Morbius in a suit. Like he's one of those guys. The thing is, he's a good troll because you never know if he's being serious or kidding around. And this is actually a good question, but I don't think Don Matrick deserves any credit. I'm pretty much with Rand as well on the why not go ahead and make these shows. It just seems a little weird. They're making a grounded show when one, the game's not even fully out yet, or maybe just recently out. And two, like we already have Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. I don't know if we need
just to read the new
another version of it. Like we don't. It's a perfect movie. So no, I'm okay with it. I don't really care about Grounded. I mean, it's not that I dislike it. I just have never. I didn't want to dabble in it until it was out, frankly. So, sure, go ahead and do it. But like we've been saying, as long as it's not taking resources away, I don't really mind. I don't know if I'm not a big fan of these movie and TV tie-ins, but I don't think they hurt anything either.
That's a good point. I mean, you guys said great points. Look, the Don is very dark. It's a dark era. I don't like to give a lot of credit at all. I will say, as a whole, so I'll give a little. As a whole, Xbox tends to be very forward-facing generation-wise, sometimes to their detriment. And even with the original Xbox, right? They were very aggressive, broadband in the box, hard drive. And these were things that they had to force. If you saw the Power On documentary, these were things not being done at the time, right? And it was like, well, everyone's on dial-up. Why do we need to do that? None of the percentage of the user base is even on broadband. Why? So to their credit, they see where things are going. The issue comes down to the implementation and the forcing of people to adopt. And that's where I think sometimes they get themselves in trouble. And I think what we're seeing this generation in the Phil era is that I like options. It's not like, okay, yeah, we believe in cloud streaming and Azure, but we're not forcing this on you.
Yeah.
You can still play the traditional way. And that's the mistake Stadia made, in my opinion. It's like, this is the future. You can only access our content this way, kind of thing. So, in this credit with movies, yeah, they were ahead of the game. I'll give them that. They were, we just talked about Netflix prior, right? They were one of the first to have that kind of integrated. Remember they were supposed to be like Quantum Break the show in the game. Remember that, Red? Like, Ben, remember that? Like, it was like supposed to be like you watch it. That kind of changed off into something else, but. Yeah, they tried. They were very aggressive with the TV. They probably saw that the industry could be bigger. They could make more revenue outside the box. It's just the implementation wasn't there. And again, the aggressive DRM, the aggressive strategies, that's what got them. Aggressive connect. It just, you have to, you must. Gamers don't like to be forced and told and dictated to, especially when the theme of your overall narrative ain't mentioning a lot of games. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, then people are like, all right, all this is cool. Because if you remember, and I always give people forget, like I always tell the story, shout out to King, we did the Xbox One retrospective on Define Duke Ultimate. That conference by Don and them soured them in the mediascape so bad that when it actually got to the Xbox portion of the game showcase, which was actually good. The damage was done already. You know what I'm saying? Because I remember seeing Rise. I remember seeing a lot of those launch games and was impressed, but it was just bad message. But overall, yes, I think they were ahead of time. And as far as adaptations, I think that's going to be the next kind of evolution of it. You see things successful like The Witcher, and I think Xbox it would be in their best interest for these game studios, if they make these type of great games, to have an adaptation that's actually good. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
That's all I got there. And we're gonna do some quick hitters right here. I'll just knock these out back to back. Jason Schreier said that the next Assassin's Creed game would be set in Baghdad. Yakuza 8 revealed accidentally in a behind-the-scenes video. So check that out. Maddie has some notes here. It's kind of hilarious that he didn't want to promo this because he's starting his dang and romper propaganda. But no, we're going to get this Yakuza 8 love now. So Yakuza 8, I don't know if any of y'all saw it. That was out there. BioWare Star Wars War, the Old Republic director, he leaves and renews his commitment to MMO. And Xbox Live 1.0 is coming back. So just wanted to ask, with these 4 stories, with Assassin's Creed, Yakuza, the director of Star Wars leaving, and Xbox Live 1.0, if any of these kind of caught your radar, any interest? Start here with Rand, like anything of these news bits.
What was the question?
So let's break it down with Jason Schreier with the Assassin's Creed being set in Baghdad.
Okay. Assassin's Creed set in Baghdad. I don't know where I'm at with Assassin's Creed right now, bro. I didn't play Origins. I played Odyssey for like 150 hours and loved every second of it. But then I couldn't get into Valhalla. And I bounced off of Valhalla pretty fast. So I don't know where I am with the franchise right now, because I could see the game. I'm not really interested in Baghdad as a location for Assassin's Creed. Like, there was that other rumor, that was like it was going to be like Aztec, which I guess was debunked. I personally would have liked that location more, or obviously Japan. I don't know. So I guess it depends, because when I first heard about Valhalla and it was like, oh, it was Norse inspired, and all, I'm like, hell yeah, like I'm totally down for that. But then I played it and I just can't get into this, right? And so it's like, on surface level, Baghdad doesn't really scream to me like must play. But then again, I thought Norse inspired Valhalla was a must play. So It's just going to come down to how I feel when I'm playing it. You know, I just sort of feel like Ubisoft has kind of, their open world, their endless bloat has kind of just gotten to me. You know, Far Cry used to be one of my favorite franchises, and I couldn't finish Far Cry 6. So I guess we'll see what happens when it comes out and I can play it for myself. Maybe I fall in love. Maybe my thing is I need to skip every other Assassin's Creed game, right? So I'm refreshed when a new one comes out, right?
Yeah, you need that window.
So
no doubt. Ben, what about you? Assassin's Creed guy, Baghdad interest you?
Yeah, I used to be a hardcore Assassin's Creed guy. I've fallen off in recent years. And for me, it doesn't matter where the game's set as long as it's good. I really did like, you know, I liked 1 and 2 and the spinoffs quite a bit. And partially because of the history that comes along with those locations. But for me, you know, give me old school Assassin's Creed stealth. I want to sneak up and stab people.
Let's go.
And I mean, Baghdad could be a cool place. I don't really know a lot about Baghdad, so I have no idea if it appeals to me. But I except for modern day Baghdad. But I mean, I know a lot about modern day Baghdad. I don't know a lot about what Assassin's Creed may be set in. But you know, give me a good game and I'll play it. But don't give me just endless fetch quests and not very interesting gameplay. And I'm just kind of soured on Assassin's Creed. But they could get me back. They could get me back easily.
Oh, fair enough. I'm exactly with you, Ben. Like, I've been done. I can't. It's gone. It's not that it's a bad game, what it evolved into. It's just not where my interests lie anymore. Like, I liked the skulking between the crowds, you know, the true stealth experience. And it's gone a little bit more action heavy to my liking. I have extreme open world fatigue, especially when you reuse the same formula and there's 1,000 icons on the map and, you know,
and 1,000 hours long.
1,000 hours. And that's it. Games, I'm sorry, Ubisoft. I think you guys are, pioneers in the space with a lot of things, but I do feel some stagnation. And I'm tired of going to the top of a tower and unlocking a circle to unlock more icons. I feel like they've gotten into this rut of just, not that the gameplay is not good, but because we have to put a number, 100 of hours, you could live in this world. Sometimes, short is better. Sometimes I'm in this place right now as a gamer where it's like, I just prefer tight, concise, even hub world experiences more than the open world. If you're doing open world now, for me, I'm just a grizzled old man gamer. Like, you got to do something special or different and I'm not even an Elden Ring guy, but I understand Elden Ring. I'm like, okay, I get it.
Mm-hmm.
I see the appeal to this. I see why people like this, and I praise it for what its take on it. But yeah, it just Assassin's Creed. I'm kind of good on it right now. But who knows? I mean, we'll see what happens. But I'm with you, Rand. Like, when I saw Valhalla, and I'm like, okay, that sounds cool. Then I'm seeing like one of my friends still playing, and I'm like, God, that game, how many hours did you put in this, and it's still not over? Like, nah, I can't. I don't have time. I'm already married.
You say that, and you play Destiny, like you did.
But
like,
Destiny is live service, and the thing about me and my sentiment where I'm at is the good carrot. If there's a good carrot at the end of the stick, and it's like, okay, cool, I can do that. Then I can take a break. Then I can do that, and I can take a break. All right, cool. This is like, oh my God, like, it's so many icons and quests and it just becomes filler. And it's just not where I am as a gamer. And you got a good point, right? People are like, you play Destiny, it's the same thing. I get it. And that's fair. That's a fair knock on me. I will say that. But at the end of the day, it's just where you are as a gamer. And that right now is not where I'm at. I'm not trying to do 1,000 icons. That's why Ghost of Tsushima was so refreshing to me. It was just different.
Ghost of Tsushima still had 1,000 icons though.
But bro, the wind and following and making my own
but
path.
Ghost of Tsushima was Sony doing a Ubisoft open world game.
Nah, I wouldn't go that far.
Yeah, I can see Ben nodding over there. It was 100% a Ubisoft open world game.
I think it was. Now, with that said, I enjoyed it way more than any Ubisoft game.
100%.
And it was refreshing not to have that stuff on my screen.
Exactly.
But Cog, before you agree too heavily, he's right. I mean, they copied the formula without all the bloat.
Slandering.
And actually with like a good story and cinematics.
Yeah,
and
it was amazing. But
and Ghost of Tsushima is like my favorite game from 2020. That and like Ori, but like I'm just saying, like, let's not go. Go, but with Assassin's Creed Valhalla,
that's the difference. It actually was good.
Well, no, sure, but here's the thing:
Yeah.
people love Valhalla, though. Like, I think we might be in the
them.
minority because Valhalla, according to Ubisoft, is like their best-selling Assassin's Creed game ever.
Yeah.
So we just might be in the minority at this point.
No,
We're just
absolutely.
Yeah.
Just old. I'm just old and grizzled, and I respect that. But I'm gonna tell you this: ain't nothing in Ubisoft's. When I seen that duel under the cherry blossoms and that camera pan in, and you see them sword, there's nothing that gives me that
You were
feeling.
looking at them cheeks, when you taking those baths.
Stop while they were wiping standing. Yeah, great.
Yeah.
You're ridiculous. But look, man, the ghosts hit different, bro. It just do. It just, and maybe I am biased, but that's how I feel. I feel the story was excellent.
Mhm.
That ending, come on. What I don't remember the last time a Ubisoft game ending. I mean, Assassin's Creed game ending made me feel a way like, damn, what am I gonna do here?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
No, it is better than Ubisoft game, 100%.
The formula.
But the
formula.
formula
You're talking
of the
about
open
formula.
world is directly copied from them.
Yeah.
They ain't got no window, but I'm gonna fight.
They
you.
did it better, though.
Moving on. We gonna leave. Yakuza 8 accidentally revealed behind the scenes. Anybody got a chance to see Yakuza 8? Little screenshot, little first
I need
images.
to. I need to play Like a Dragon, bro.
I need to play
Oh,
all of them.
man.
Yakuza's a game.
Yeah.
Yakuza's a game I know I'll like. I just am so intimidated by so many games.
You know what's sad?
Don't be disappointed in me, Cog.
This is the only time I'm ashamed, y'all. Like, because both of y'all would love, based on what I know about both of you so far, you guys would love this game.
I mean, I know I
Right?
would.
It's just, bro, it is goofy, but like, then it has these really touching moments where you're like, yo, this is a really powerful story. And I'm kind of feeling a way about certain things. Like, it's just so well done. And what I liked about it, and the reason why I would say don't get intimidated and give it a shot, is because I asked Yakuza Hardcore, right? I'm like, look, I am new to this series. Do I have to start from the beginning? Can I start with this? And they were like, look, yes, will certain things hit more and have a more traditional aspect because you may recognize certain references from older games? Yes. But they said this is a self-contained story with Ichiban Kasuga, and you can try it.
Okay.
So I said, okay, cool. And I spoke to my hardcore. They were like, no, Cock, you can try. Don't listen to anybody. You can play this standalone. You don't have to go through Bro, I absolutely love that game. That game was a pleasant surprise, and it didn't feel like a slog. It did maybe one chapter here or there, maybe overstayed its welcome here and there. But the thing about them is, and I know Rand, the reason why I want Rand to try it, I know Rand is not really team turn-based like me and Maddie are. But this is such a cinematic flair and big sprites and over the top and just fun when you're involved with the combat. It is really a great take on it. So give it a shot. It's a game.
I think I owned it on PlayStation too.
I own it on Xbox.
Yeah.
Bro, it was my listen, I would have if I would have played it when it came out. I played like a couple of months because it came around the Xbox Series X launch, right? Correct me if I'm wrong.
I think you're right.
Series
it
X
came out.
Yeah, it was a launch title for the Series.
It was a
X.
launch title for the Series X. If I would have played it in that window that it came out, it would have been my game of the year.
Yeah.
That's how impressed I was with that story. I just played it like maybe a couple, right at the beginning of the next year. And I was like, damn, I missed out on this, but give it a shot. Anyway, I'll comment on Yakuza real quick. The images look cool. It definitely shows that they're continuing the Like a Dragon story. And what's cool is it did so well for them that now, because there's like now in the Yakuza community, there was a little civil war because they went the turn-based route. They went this new route, and now they're really blowing up. And people who like the old school route, which is more traditional style, open world, kind of thing in the vein of traditional combat, I think Judgment is going to fill that void now. Judgment is going to have the old traditional style of Yakuza. So they're serving two things now. So just be on the lookout for that. But yeah, I was super impressed with it. They're showing my guy, in the new setting. I'm seeing some things that I can infer where they're going with the story. So I was excited to see it. But I know both of you haven't got a chance to play it. But if you can, give that a shot. Like a Dragon. That's my game. That's my game. And Maddie, we got our bet. So Danganronpa versus like a Dragon. And BioWare, the director for Old Republic leaves. It looks like Charles Boyd announced his departure. He said even after almost 16 years, he can't still believe how lucky he has been to work on Old Republic. And again, this is a classic, so he shouts out to teams, longtime partners at Lucasfilms, and he's moving on. Last December marked the Old Republic's 10th anniversary. Any concerns, questions? Are you guys Old Republic fans? Ben, where you at with this?
I've played it some. I'm not hardcore by any means. I've enjoyed it, but I don't know. I don't really play a lot of these games. I know that this game specifically is supposed to have a great story, and the director obviously has some input over the story, a lot of input, a lot of times over the story, at least approval. I'm not real worried about it. MMORPGs are not something that I would typically play for the story. I'm usually playing them, and by usually I mean very sparingly, playing them because my friend's playing it or because I like the world they're in. I'm not too concerned. It's obviously sad that the beloved director's leaving. Hopefully he's going on to do better things, whether that's, I didn't see if he was retiring or moving on somewhere else or what, but yeah, that stinks, but I don't think the game will suffer for it. It's been around 10 years and people are either playing it or they're not, and people are either going to try it or they're not. And the only thing that could happen is new people don't try it, but more likely they'll get somebody who's really going to pump in the juices to it. So yeah.
No doubt. Randall Thor, any Knights of the Old Republic love? This news hit you anyway?
So, if you would have told me who put together the show notes for this question here would immediately pointed to the one and only Mr. Matty Plays, because
it. This is him.
If COG was putting together these show notes, they ain't going to be anything about no BioWare Knights of the Republic MMO. I'll tell you that much. This is straight Mr. Matty Plays. I've never played Knights of the Republic MMO. Or the Old Republic. What's called the Old Republic, right?
The Old Republic.
So him leaving means absolutely nothing to me. What else can I say?
Was it a sad day for you? Is that what you implied?
No, I'm just saying, like, some guy leaving a company, directing the game that I never played once and never thought about for a second doesn't. What am I supposed to say about that?
Yeah.
Like I mean, the simple answer to your question is I couldn't care less.
Fair enough, Maddie. I tried to fight for you, but they not there with you. I don't got much to add either, obviously. This is clearly, I know Maddie wanted to talk about it. I would love to get his thoughts on it, though, because I know this is near and dear to him and how he feels about it. But in the last of the quick hitting ones, Xbox Live 1.0 coming back, the resurgence. Remember Insignia? I had that bringing back online multiplayer to the OG Xbox, game preservation-y kind of stuff. Any of this stuff interest the PC Lord Ben over there, or anything here from 1.0, this announcement?
Yeah.
Make it feel away?
No, I think it's cool. I think it's cool that an outside company is able to do this. They're talking about bringing back 13 titles to start with. You got Counter-Strike. Well, anybody playing serious Counter-Strike at this point is playing on PC, in my opinion. You're probably not going to go back to original Xbox to play it. Maybe you are. It's cool that Dead or Alive will be available. Yes. We've got a list of games here, and they're all cool games, but I can't see myself digging out the old Xbox out of the attic and finding it, figured out how to do this thing with Insignia. I think it's really cool that they're doing it. I think it's important that the service is available. I just don't know that there's any reason for me to go back for this older. Not because it's old. I love old games, but I've got way better ways to play games that are important to me. So yeah.
No, fair enough. Look, I got to talk to Rand, the leader of the Back Compat movement, and that's all he does is play the old games. And I know this just like really resonated.
I didn't even know this was the thing. That's how tuned in I am to the Xbox Live 1.0. Didn't even know this was a thing, and I wouldn't use it. I would never use it. So
come on, Red. Look at these amazing titles that's out here, man. You not excited to go back? Mech Assault, MotoGP, Star Wars Jedi Academy. Come on, bro. Let's get it popping. You not ready?
No, we've moved on, bro. We've moved on.
What?
I'm happy for anybody that, has been sitting there being like, if only I could play Star Wars Jedi Academy on my Xbox.
My
And now you
original
finally
Xbox.
Yeah, my OG Xbox.
My 20-year-old Xbox, instead of just playing it on Steam or something. I mean,
Yeah. Or the community that will build up around Counter-Strike, OG Xbox. I mean, it's cool for the preservation stuff, I suppose, but it's cool for those that want it.
Sure.
No doubt. Shout out to Retro Rebound. Shout out to Mr. Matty Plays. Know he's excited about this news. Salute to him. I had to give him a shot again. But yeah, we're up to that segment now. I think this is you, Rand. You kind of alluded to it earlier. Game Pass pick of the week, a certain title.
Yeah, I would say the Game Pass pick of the week this week is going to be As Dusk Falls. Brand new game came out, Xbox Global Publishing. What was the name of the studio, Cog? You said it earlier. It was like
Interior Night.
Interior Night. I think it was their first game.
Yeah, awesome developer.
I think it's worth playing through if you like these narrative style adventures and the choices and the story. Like you've seen it after you complete a chapter, the story tree. There's a lot of different ways it could go. And not only can you play it solo, you could also play it with your friends. You can play it up to 8 people locally and 8 people online. But then you can also have people play it via phone. I think there's like an app or something. You can stream it on Twitch and your viewers can sort of pick the different options. And I don't know. I think it's worth playing through. I was definitely surprised by how much I was invested early on into seeing like, oh man, there's like this scenario they're in is like I'm making these choices, doing these quick time events. And I do feel like the first, because it's set up in the books, book 1, book 2. Book 1 is 3 chapters, book 2 is 3 chapters. I do feel like it starts off stronger than it finishes.
Okay.
Although it does deal with repercussions. There's one of the things I do like about this game is that you deal with the repercussion of the act in itself in the moment and like the choices you make. But then also an act significant like that is going to leave scars on a person. And you do deal with that, like, because there are time jumps. And you don't normally see those sort of things reflected in games like this. So I thought it was interesting to kind of revisit the characters towards the end, years later, and how it impacted their lives. Like, I think that was a very, very good touch, because normally you don't really see that often. So I definitely think it's worth playing through. I'm not saying it's the greatest game ever made by any stretch of the imagination. I think it's a very solid, very interesting, very fun, with a lot of interesting twists and turns and a lot of dark things you can do. There's some dark. Me and Jazz, when we were playing it, there's this thing that happened. I'm not going to spoil it for anybody, but we were like,
I need Ben to do spoiler. Don't go too crazy.
Jazz was like, I can't believe Xbox published this. Like, there's some things that happen there. Like, really? Okay. So yeah, As Dusk Falls, I think is worth checking out on Xbox Game Pass.
I'm so happy, man, because I'll be honest, like, bro, like I came into this game thinking this is just a COD game. No one's gonna like it. And it's so cool to hear you say that, you know what I'm saying? Because again, speaking with the devs, and I remember saying to them, because let's be honest, a lot of these games, Ben, you could have, the choice, but the reality is they all come back to the same path, and they really don't affect the end, right?
Yeah.
And that's when I saw Rad said it beautifully. I remember doing the first chapters, right? And the game gives you those paths where it could have gone, and you see all the branching. And I remember asking this, how much writing that takes to be able to not only have all these different paths, but also the fates of others. So yeah, it's something that I thought was really done well. And I think maybe, Rand, I don't know if you agree with me. I know the controversy is the art style. And look, you said it great initially when we first started the show. Like, this is not going to be for everyone, this art style. Let's be clear. And I do want to be clear, like, the control could be a little, clunky sometimes as far as like moving the mouse and whatever, because I guess they're doing the mobile and the thing or whatever. But yeah, like I was like, wow, like this surprised me in a way. And again, if you could get past that part, some of the most engaging writing and narrative. And to you said, like they touch some subjects. They touch some subjects. So yeah, I like your choice, man. I'm surprised. I didn't think you would come around. You know what I'm saying, on it. I didn't know how you.
I didn't think you would come around on it,
bro. I was pro this game since the minute is announced. I'm always what is they call them, the walking simulators. Yeah. I'm a walking simulator guy.
This isn't even a. You know what I saw on Twitter, and I had to laugh.
Yo, they clowning.
Someone called this game a Grand Theft Auto loading simulator. I just busted out laughing.
Yo, the jokes is funny. I can't. And coming into it, I'm like, all right, but it's something about the way they do it, and then they have these really good emotions depicted in these drawings that you like. I feel the emotion
because the voice acting is all really well done. The main character, I believe his name is Vince.
Yeah.
That's what's his face from Deus Ex. The main character from Deus Ex. Because I was playing and I'm like, I know this guy's voice from somewhere. I know this guy's voice. And I was watching. I forget who. Someone on Twitch. Like, oh yeah, this is the. They said the guy's name, and I'm like, oh, that's the dude from Deus Ex. That's Adam Jensen. You know,
fair enough.
And they're like, oh, that all clicked into place. But yeah, good voice acting. And yeah, I think, like you mentioned, the style of the art style is probably going to be a hang up for probably most people.
I remember my thought. Sorry to cut you. The reason why I went back to the art style is because I think because it's not the traditional graphical game, that allows them to do all these choices. You don't because remember, if it's really mo-capped and everything, as a smaller studio, you know what I mean? You don't got the resources, right, Ben, to do all of that, to have all these outcomes act out. But if you could use this style, this painting style, now you can really focus on the writing and I think that's what it allowed them. Do you agree with me, Rand, or no?
Yeah, I think I would agree with you on that. Yeah, I think I would. It's just, I don't know, man. It was just, I had no expectations going into it. None. Like, I thought it was going to be bad game, right? Sat down, played through the first 3 chapters, like 3 hours went by like it was nothing. I was so invested in these characters. I was like, oh, and it was so like when you're in the motel and things are, I was like, oh man, I'm trying to like outsmart people. Like, what do I do? What am I, man, I was into it. And then the next night I played the final back half 3 hours. It's like, man, this was fun. This was a good game,
No doubt.
So yeah, that's my pick.
I'm looking forward to
Otherwise, it would have been Inside.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, Ben's gonna play it?
Yeah, I'm gonna play. I pretty much I finished Stray, shut off the PlayStation, booted up the Xbox, and downloaded that. I'm gonna play with my wife. Like, I've come around to these, for lack of a better word, walking sim games more recently. As long as the narrative is good, like, I'll never play Life is Strange. But other than that, if a narrative is good, I'll play it. And so As Dusk Falls is definitely on the list. We'll see if I can be patient enough to wait. My wife and I, my gaming schedule doesn't really line up with her sleep schedule because she's in bed by like 9 and I'm awake till 5. So it's a whole thing. But I'm interested to play it. Especially last week, you were raving about it too, and it looked interesting for me to get go. The one thing, I think it's Vince. Is that the one you said reminded you of me?
Reminds me of you,
okay.
Bro.
Okay, I don't know how the character acts, but I have an acquaintance, Alex Van Aken. I've known him for a long time. I think he works over at Game Informer now. I'll send you a picture of him later. I'm telling you, they modeled it off of him. I'm telling you. Yes.
Yo, shout out I love his character, man. Yeah, check it out. I'm dying to get your opinions and play it from a multiplayer perspective. The override thing is a whole nother mechanic. And like I said, I played in the studio with 8 people. It changes the dynamic, what I'm saying, with big decisions.
I just put a picture of him in the Zencaster chat.
Oh, let me see. Yeah, let me see real quick. Yo,
it's insane.
That's him.
Yeah, that's him.
Yeah, exactly.
That's him. Yeah, that's him. Wow. Yeah. Yo, dead ringer.
Yeah,
dead ringer.
For sure.
As Dusk Falls, we got it, man. Let's get these Actually, from Alex Dash Twice just had an also comment in reference to Game Pass pick of the week. He says, "Hello, ATB, Maddie, and X4 COD. For Game Pass pick of the week, I want to strongly recommend Omori. It's a really unique RPG with a fantastic and one-of-a-kind turn-based system based on emotions with an impeccable story that touches heavy topics such as suicide, depression, mental health, anxiety, etc. That also has a really one-of-a-kind art style. Even if you don't mention this game on the show, please, if possible, try to play it. It's one of the best games I've played in the last couple of years. Anybody familiar with Omori or played it?
I've seen it like on the Game Pass list, but I've never checked it out.
Yeah, I've seen it as well, but I haven't downloaded it. But Power Wash Simulator, right? You never know.
You never know.
I see that on there now. With Ben talking about it, and my buddies talking about it, like there should. Tonight, Cog's going to be power washing.
Do you like mind-numbing games at all? Like play it. That's what it is.
Yeah, no, I downloaded it. I started to download from the app when he was talking. So I was like, yeah, let me I got it. Bro, that's the beauty of Game Pass. It's no excuse for me not to. Like, I got to pay something. No, just
like I said, play one level, you hate it. You didn't lose anything.
Exactly. That's how I look at it. Moving on with the ending questions. Shout out to Michael Lamaro. Hi, Dukes. What months do you see Somerville launching? I think it looks like a great October or November game. Thanks, boys. Anybody interested in Somerville? Anybody got their eyes on this? Been one of mine. Oh, you too? Oh, yeah. Let's go, Rand.
I love like Limbo, Inside. And this is from, I believe, someone who was at the studio or created, like whatever.
The original guy.
So like, I am 100% in. I love the trailer that they showed off last year. We still don't know if they said 2022, but we still don't know when in 2022, and it's almost August. So it's kind of like, okay, are we sure it's not 2023 at this point? But it doesn't really matter. Like I'll be playing that game day one. Like, I'm so excited to play that.
No doubt. Ben, Somerville caught your eye. Interested?
Yeah, I'm right there. I'm right there with Rand. It looks like they've got probably a bigger budget, or at least, they've done a little more with some of the, looks like they're going to have some cutscenes and everything else. So than they did with Limbo or Inside. I'm definitely interested. I have no freaking idea when it's going to launch. I think November might be a bad idea because we got a few big hitters that month, but whenever it launches, I'll be there as long as there's not something else conflicting with it, but I'll play it eventually. It looks great. And I saw that like from last year or earlier this year, whenever it was, I saw that trailer and I said, I'm in, and now I'm out. I don't need to see anymore. So
same. Yeah. I saw it immediately. Yeah. I was like, this is my type of game. I come from the, Inside, Limbo, Another World family. So that tickles that. So yeah, I'm so excited. Hopefully it comes this year, but I'm with you, man. Hopefully they separate, give it a chance to breathe, and doesn't put it too close.
Maybe like October.
Yeah.
December.
Nice October. Yeah.
I mean, there's some other like what is that? High is High
on Life.
High on Life.
Oh, yeah.
Like it's supposed to be this year too.
It is,
so
I'm looking forward to that one too.
Yeah, it was like, but we're almost at August, so like you'd imagine you can start like announcing some of these release dates. But then again, I don't know. God of War just got a release date, so
true.
They're probably trying to figure stuff out. So
yeah. I like having no release dates until it's ready. I really do. I like games getting announced and coming out in 6 weeks or 2 months or whatever. I know that's not great for the marketing cycle and stuff like that all the time, but I'm so tired of all the delays, and I'm just like, tell me a game's coming out when it's ready, and I can just be ready for it. And then it's great with Game Pass and Xbox because they tell you like, come in this week. It's like, great, I'm preloading it. Great, let's go.
Absolutely. Well said. Yeah, I completely agree sometimes. And, just when it's ready, I'm tired of the head fakes.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And it's like, I think when we did the Sacred Symbols Dukes crossover, Chris said a great point. And he was just like, you get into the point now, I get so cynical when somebody announced it and release date, sometimes I'm like, yeah, that ain't happening.
Mm-hmm.
I remember when God of War. Remember when they was 2021. I'm like, yeah, no, you're not. Like just when it's ready. The same thing with you, Starfield. When it's ready, don't be putting up exact dates. 11. What's the voice for 11?
Ben, when Starfield got delayed, I was on a phone call with Cog consoling him.
Yeah,
he was. It was funny because the whole lead up to everything was,
As if he wouldn't have. Okay.
and me and Cog talk a lot, right?
Yeah.
Call him up, see what's going on. And there was this time where I was like, I don't know, Cog, about this show. I don't know about this year. And Cog would be like, yo, Xbox balling this year. They got Starfield, they got Redfall. And I'm like, yeah, but like, things happen. What happens if, the Starfield ain't getting delayed, ain't happening, Rand, right?
This is nonsense. But continue. I'm gonna let you go ahead.
What do you mean it's nonsense? I heard you say the same shit on this show.
Oh,
you and Maddie both.
What did we say? I want to hear the quote.
I'll pull them up. I've probably got the audio file somewhere.
I'll
do a supercut.
Do a supercut. You get locked more, and if I'm guilty as charged, I'll take the L. But what I recall saying was, I feel very strong about Xbox this year because I said, Starfield, man. That's all. I don't. Anything else didn't matter to me. Like even Redfall, honestly, didn't matter to me. I was like Starfield. So yes, was I overconfident? Yes, was I like, I expected this game to be. I didn't see a situation potentially where it could get delayed. That was like the furthest thing from my mind. So when it happened, I'm like, yo,
you were like, we were on the phone. He was stunned. How they delayed 2 games of one announcement. Oh man, it was like
we have a Discord chat for the show that Maddie and Cog and Dustin and I are all in. And I woke up and I was like, what? Why the hell do I have 87 notifications from the Dukes? And it's just major copium from Maddie and Cog both. Just like, and then of course I had to edit a supplemental part on my anniversary, but that's I'm over that. That's fine.
We definitely thank you for the amazing editing job.
It was worth it. It was definitely worth it to put it in there. Yeah, it
was such a breaking news we had. But normally, if we missed the news cycle, but shout out to Ben, shout out to the team. It was like we have to talk about it, and we wore our Starfield shirts in memorandum.
Yeah, that was definitely a bad week. People were. It was definitely. Oh man, what a week!
This week in Xbox history. Remember that one? Yeah. Not fair enough, Fred. But it was a wild time, and I was surprised. So yeah, good point. Good point there. Anyway, Paul asks, "Hey Dukes, what makes a good Game Pass game?" Good tie-in. By that I mean, what type of game do you play because it's on Game Pass that you wouldn't normally try it? Nobody needs a service to decide if they want to play Forza Horizon, but a game like Power Washing Simulator, perfect. What games have you found and loved because of Game Pass, and what qualities do you think they shared? Let's start with Ben since Power Wash was referenced here.
Yeah, I mean,
any other one?
I've talked about Power Wash Simulator enough, but that's definitely one of them that you throw that game down for $40, I'm not picking it up. Like, no. But that's definitely the kind of game. But a game not like that I'm like kind of interested. There's lots of games that I've played because of Game Pass that I was mildly interested in and ended up really liking, or that I ended up hating and I got to save that money and didn't have to play. But 12 minutes. So the one game I will point to is my buddy Justin for like months was like, you got to play this game with me. You got to play this game with me. You're going to like it. You're going to like it. And I looked at it and I was like, no, I'm not going to like it. I'm not playing it. There's no way. And that game was Sea of Thieves.
Whoa.
And so I started playing Sea of Thieves. And as you guys know, I have now got close to 2,000 hours in Sea of Thieves in like a year and a half.
Damn.
And granted, like
he's a beast.
I pretty much, I play everything else. Like I play everything as much as I can, but I only really play Sea of Thieves when I'm streaming. Like that's my streaming game. I'm for lack of a better way to say it, I'm a Sea of Thieves streamer. I guess you could say. Like that's what I stream. Yeah. So, but that's a game, and I mean, like there have been many months where that game has literally paid my mortgage, like by doing it. And without Game Pass, I never would have dropped. I think at the time it was probably $40. I never would have dropped $40 on it because I was like, I don't know. But once I jumped in for free or for part of my Game Pass subscription, it became like literally it became part of, and partially I kind of hate it, but it became part of my identity. Like people are like, oh, you play other games besides Sea of Thieves? I'm like, yeah, you just don't know that because that's all I stream. Like I play everything, but I don't. So yeah, I mean, that's a classic example of now one of my favorite games that I play and am creating content with that I never would have touched without two things. Even though it was on Game Pass, I still wasn't playing it, but my buddy bugged me to play it. And because there was no extra barrier to entry for me,
yeah,
hey, I picked it up, and now I own it on Steam too. So they got more money out of it. So yeah, that's my answer. And also Power Washing Simulator.
Of course, we got to shout out
Yeah.
the goat right
I mean,
now. The GOTY. The
GOTY
for bed right now. It's the goat.
And I listen. I don't. For my goaties, my personal goaties, they're not.
It's your list. Own it.
They're not the. I don't pick a goatee based on what I think the best game is. It's not the perfect score. It's just the game I've enjoyed the most. Right. So so far, whew.
No caveats. This is your list.
Oh,
This
yeah.
is what Ben is riding with. I feel you on that right now. I really feel you on that. Salute. So what about you, Ray? What was a Game Pass that you kind of changed you? Like, yo, I might not have ever played this, but this is one of those games.
I mean, as someone who owns a lot of games, I kind of use Game Pass as something like I used it a lot. I remember last summer when like 12 minutes came. Was it 12 minutes? No, 12. Was it 12 hours? What was the name of that game?
12
You
minutes.
guys did a spoiler cast.
12 minutes.
Yeah.
12 minutes,
yeah.
and like the Ascent came out, where it was like, I'm interested in these games. I'm gonna play them, and I didn't have to like spend any money on them. Right. So I look at it more as like, okay, I was interested in these games anyways, but now I don't have to spend X amount of dollars. Like, I'm interested in Stray. Right now, I can upgrade my PlayStation Essential tier to extra tier for like $12 for the rest of the duration, and Stray's $30. So it's like, okay, well, I'm gonna upgrade because it's cheaper for me to play Stray that way. So like, I view the Game Pass stuff and PlayStation Plus stuff as like, it's saving me money, and I can play more of the things. Like, I don't have an example like you do where you played you didn't play Sea of Thieves and then you played it on Game Pass, discovered it, and was like, it's one of your favorite games ever or whatever, right? I don't really have that experience. I will say, like, recently there's a game I downloaded that I never would have downloaded before. I wouldn't have spent the money, and that's like Naraka Blade Point. Like, I played like 4 games, and this is a game I would never have played, wouldn't have spent the money on it. My buddy was just basically like, come play a couple games with me, and I'm like, all right. So I just clicked download, boom, ready to go, played it, enjoyed it, and it was just like, hey, that's cool. Like, I didn't have to spend any money on it, and it's a game that is actually kind of fun. And I know you've been kind of rocking that lately, Cog, and I have a feeling you probably wouldn't have played it without Game Pass. So.
Wouldn't have played it, wouldn't have known about it. Yeah, I mean, if you're done, I'll tie right in to what I was going to say. Yeah, I mean, Naraka is clearly up there for me. I mean, it's now dominated my gaming time and given me a nice little palate cleanse from Destiny a little bit. But yeah, for me, there's a couple. I would be remiss if I didn't mention the great NXL. Wasteland was that for me. I remember Addict just going on and on about it. And I'm just like, he's like, you like turn-based, but you ain't playing this and the rating and this. And I'm like, all right. He's like, you got co-op and you a co-op guy. I'm like, all right. And I remember we started streaming it. I'm like, yo, this is really good. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is really good. Now, granted, Rand, I probably wouldn't have bought it. Remember with the technical issues they had at first. I was like, because I think you was in a party chat with us one time. He was trying to get it set up, and I'm like, bro, this thing, what's going on? I guess I was like, I can tell NXI, y'all needed the budget from Microsoft back then. I think did they help them with like voice acting or something, or to make it fully voiced or something? Microsoft helped to get it across the finish line, before the acquisition, or whatever. But it was one of those games. So I will say that the one that I really got a shout out though, Forgotten Sin. I wouldn't have known about that game. I think we had Jeff Grubb on, you mentioned. I was like, what's that? And then Maddie gave me more context. And I was like, all right, I like the time period. And I'm not really into what we call them, like what is 12 minutes called? Is that considered what's the genre type? I forgot the name we call it.
I don't know.
When it's the time, I just call it like the time loop games, right? Yeah. So I was like, all right, let me see. I don't know how I feel about the genres. Everybody catching it with, oh no. This was one of the most well done, well thought out, well written, and my consequences had weight. I felt the ending was so earned. It's one of those games that, when games offer different endings, like good, better, best kind of endings. I was like, no, I have to get the best in. I need to see. You know what I'm saying? Like, I replayed things I messed up or that, and I was like, oh no, this is fantastic.
Yeah.
So that was one.
That's a phenomenal game.
Oh, I loved it. And just like in the corner stuff that I'm like, all right. Not saying it was like amazing, but like to your point, Rand, there was another little narrative kind of walking simulator type game. It was British based. It was called like Last Stop.
Yes.
And I was like, I remember getting into this game. I'm like, matter of fact, I was talking to you one night.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, Manny, with this, it's my week for Game Pass Pick of the Week. So I'm just like, all right. Because you know how like sometimes you just like, you either played what's already the hottest things, and you already set a game that you really playing, but you already set it. So I'm like, all right, so I got to actually play something new to see. So you were like, bro, Cog, try Last Stop. I'm like, what's this? He was like, yo, you might like it. I'm like, yo, I was getting into this little British game, and I'm like, I started to care about what was going on. So that's the beauty of Game Pass. Like Ben eloquently said, the barrier for entry is low. So now there's no excuse to not try. And then if you get pressured by the homies, you can't be like, no, I ain't paying. Bro, it's right there. Just at least throw it on boot. And if you don't, uninstall, right? So you're like, all right, fair. Look what happened with Ben. Sea of Thieves becomes his wave. Look what happens with me, Naraka Blade Point. I'm screaming from the rooftops, Naraka Blade Point right now. That wouldn't have happened if it wasn't Game Pass. That's just being honest. But I do love this question by Kyrie and by Paul S. And I thought it was great. So it's cool to see. So two more and we'll wrap up. Kyrie Williams. Hey, Dukes, I can't help but notice that there's always the question about what should Xbox do next in Japan. If I'm being honest, I know a lot of people view Platinum Games as a company Xbox should not trust, but as a big fan of them, I know what they can do as far as single-player action games. There has been a recent report and rumor noted by Idle Sloth, Rand's favorite, he's always getting sloth, saying that Xbox signed a deal to publish and fund their next game. The report also suggested this is a new game and is not scale-bound. I think it will be beneficial for both Platinum and Xbox to redeem themselves after the cancellation of Scalebound, and Xbox needs an exclusive Japanese games just like back in the 360 days. What do you guys think? You guys have an Xbox will soon conquer Japan soon kind of day. Rand, Platinum news.
I'm not against the idea of Xbox working with Platinum again, like some people are, right? And Xbox needs more games. You know, I'm always be of the opinion you need more studios. You should make more partnerships and have more games. You need games. So you never end up with another year like 2022, right? You need games. And you especially need Japanese content because you want to break into that market. You need Japanese content. And Platinum, look, they're not in the best place right now, right? Babylon's Fall didn't set the world on fire. So I can imagine they're probably like, yeah, let's go work with Microsoft. We know Microsoft is throwing around the cash. We know Microsoft is wanting to work with Japanese developers. They're working with Hideo Kojima, stuff like that. So I could see a scenario where Microsoft and Platinum team up again. And Platinum has made some absolute fantastic games in the past. Metal Gear Rising Revengeance, I adore, right? The Bayonetta games are fantastic. Nier Automata is amazing, right? But there's like the other Platinum where it's like, who are you getting? Are you getting the ones that make those triple S tier games? Or are you getting the ones that make Transformers Devastation and make like Legend of Korra and that are making Babylon's Fall? Like, which Platinum games are you getting here? And with Scalebound, it seemed like Xbox was sort of going to be getting like the S tier one because I think Kameo was making it, right? And then, well, we know what happened with Scalebound, or do we know what happened with Scalebound? I mean, there's still like
the
questions about what happened there, but I think canceling the game was the right move, and I think both Microsoft and Platinum said the same thing. Like basically, it was like Platinum's like it was our fault, you know, blah 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 blah. So yeah, I mean, I would not be against the idea of Xbox working with Platinum again, as long as it's not Scalebound, because there's no reason to just drag that corpse up and reanimate it. Just make something new. So, well, I guess we'll wait and see. So. I did see they hired like some ex-Nintendo person to help like run the company or something. I saw that in Famitsu or something like that.
Oh, okay. I didn't
So
know.
yeah, I mean, we know Xbox is out there throwing money around. They need the games. They want to make an inroads in Japan. Platinum's available, so I could totally see them working together.
I'll jump in because I'm very passionate about the platinum subject. Look, yeah, I'm biased. You know, I really want Xbox to take a shot, but I understand the financial risk. I understand Rand's point, and I can't refute that. Like, there's platinum, and then there's like platinum. like y'all made that. Like, it's just so I get the disparity, and we know the story about Scalebound ad nauseum. We don't need to get into that, but the way I look at it is it's a deficiency. You know, I look at Japanese games, Japanese studio. I look at fighting games as one other separate thing that they need. But Japanese games, like, look, it's rare that a company is like, hey, we want to work with, you know, potentially you. And hey, we want to revisit that thing. Now, to Microsoft's defense, I'll say this, Ram. Put them on like a global publishing prove it deal.
Put them on a probationary.
Yeah, like keep the writ. Because if I feel I get it, like, look, when y'all were in the, who knows whose story or whose variation of the truth is true? I don't know. I wasn't in the building. But if one of the rumors was, hey, they, you know, the deliverables weren't met, or the tech was over their head, or maybe Microsoft was too heavy-handed with it, who knows what really happened? But one thing I will say, because I have interviewed Kamiya, I've interviewed them, and they are very proud people. In my opinion. And I don't, if they were not in the wrong, I do not get the impression that they would be like, hey, Phil, we really want to do this again, if they were truly absolved from blame. You know what I mean? So it's like, I mean, if they truly have, so it's like, that's my part that I feel like there could be a reconciliation on a publishing deal level. And then try it out and see what works. And this way you don't have the commitment to have to buy them. So that's where I'm at with it. I'm always going to have a fine spot for them. And I'm hoping they pull up and bounce back on some level. I don't know how Ben feels about Platinum. I don't know his history overall with them. So I'm curious about what you feel in reference to Platinum and in this situation.
My history with Platinum is probably not, I wouldn't call it extensive. I mean, I played Vanquish, played Bayonetta, played the hell out of Nier Automata, and I think that's it. I think, you know, I don't really, part of my issue is I don't really care where games get made or published. I think it would be good if it was a good game for the Xbox ecosystem, as long as, again, we're getting the platinum that we love, not the platinum that sometimes puts out games that suck. But I don't know. I don't care. Whatever they make, as long as it's good, I'll probably end up playing it. Whether it's just on Xbox or if it's everywhere, I don't care. I mean, frankly, if Xbox wanted to cut them a check to make another Nier game, let's go. I'm down. I don't care if it's exclusive or not. I'll play it. If it's exclusive, I'll go to Xbox to play it. If it's not, and Microsoft has a financial stake, that's great. But yeah, I don't really know the ins and outs of the deal and all the discussions that have been spoken, but Platinum needs some help to put out something phenomenal. I mean, Astral Chain did okay. I mean, a lot of people, I've not played it, but a lot of people love it, but it didn't perform terribly well.
Yeah, it didn't do well. Man, I love
Babylon's Fall was, you know, abysmal. We'll see what Bayonetta 3 looks like, but that's going to be exclusively on Switch. So I don't know. Yeah. I like Platinum. I want to like them more than I like them. And if they get a little Microsoft money, they could do almost anything. I think if they do it, if they put the right people there.
Yeah, I'm with you, Rand. I'm just glad Rand's coming around. I wasn't.
But here's the thing: I've always been a big Platinum fan. I like their games, like Bayonetta 1, Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance, Nier Automata. Like those are great games. I would even say Bayonetta 1 and Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance are masterpieces for their respective genres. Yeah, like that's how much. So it's like initially when they were doing Scalebound, I was excited because we got Platinum. Because at that time, but
so hype when I heard about that announcement.
And but it's like okay, but then there's bad Platinum, which has me worried because you never know which one you're getting. You don't know if you're getting good Platinum or bad Platinum. Mm-hmm. So I'm down. I'm down as Xbox needs games. They need as many games as they can possibly get. So why not work with Platinum again?
Yeah.
Hopefully you can work together, make Platinum, the best they can be, the better versions of themselves, and create something that is unique and is really good.
If it's true, I will say it would be a tremendous PR boon if like Ben said, if the game is good and they were able to come together on any type of level with a deal. I think it would be a tremendous PR, especially coming back from the disaster of the media of Scalebound and what type of damage that did to them, right? Because it had to on both parties, you know what I'm saying? Phil to actually cancel a game, right? And then, Platinum to have the, the embarrassment of like, hey, this is not happening. They're not working with us. And yeah, it's interesting. I'm going to chart it. Hopefully we'll see if Sloth is right on this one. He's always slothing everybody. But last one, y'all. This is a fun one. Final question. Max Gale. Dukes, easy question. What's your favorite piece of video game merchandise? Official and unofficial, since there's some really great unofficial looking things out there. It's got to be my Yakuza Like a Dragon shoes, Ichiban edition, for me for official merch, and a minimalist one-piece t-shirt, Heart Pirate /Law. Let's start with you, Ben. Any merch? I see some things hiding around there in the room. Anything that really touches.
Can I have three? I'll be quick.
Let's go for it. Please.
All right.
We'll go through.
Two of them are actually things that LSM patrons /fans, got me. One is actually was most of the God of War Collector's Edition from the first game, or from 2018. So I have the Atreus Kratos statue behind me here. It's on the I really like that, and he just gave it to me, and I was like, I'll buy it from you. He's like, I don't want any money. I'm like, oh, I'll take it, but I don't. As a rule, like I know people want to be generous, but I don't really like just taking things from people. If I can help. Yeah, exactly. The second thing, and I got it right next to me here.
What you got?
Sea of Thieves controller.
Oh no, that's great.
Which I will probably never use it, but I have it. What were you gonna say?
I have that controller too. Did you use the DLC code that came with it?
No. So this I did not buy. This was another fan of the show, fan of the network, who sent it to me. He knew I was kind of wanting it, and he found it at a good price and just drop shipped it to me. Cool. I didn't know it was coming. Again, I would have paid for it if I'd known. But yeah, they're hard to find. Did you use your DLC code?
That's the thing. So I was talking to my buddy James Shields at Xbox, who worked on that controller. It was his brainchild. And he was like, the DLC code that comes with that controller you could sell for like $2,000 on eBay? And my ears perked up. I'm like, excuse me, sir?
Yeah.
I was like, so I got to find the box that it's in, because I don't know if I used it.
If you didn't use it, I'll give you $50 for it right now. I'll give you I'll give you $300 for it.
I'd have to find it, but there's a part of me that thinks I did use it.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'd have to find it. If I didn't use it, I'll hit you up.
All right.
And be like,
I'm not going to pay you $2,000 for it, or else I would have already bought it. But we can work out something. Yeah.
I'll look for it.
But that's this controller it's a little bit hard to find because people who have it don't want to get rid of it, and the price is artificially inflated because it's attached to that DLC.
Well, and they don't make them anymore.
They don't make them anymore.
They make the controller.
If you have that outfit in the game, like people respect you.
What does the outfit look like?
It's called the ferryman outfit. It's the outfit that the ferryman wears. The guy on the
I think I gotta say I haven't played Sea of Thieves in a while. I think I might have used it.
Listen, if you find it and didn't use it, let me know. We'll work something out. I'm telling you. I can't justify a game that's eventually going to go away spending that much money on it, and I don't even have that much money to spend, frankly. but I would pay something for it for sure. Okay, here's my third piece, real quick. You know how like if you go to a gaming con, it's like I pulled this out to show, but I'll also describe it. If you go to a gaming con, it's like in trademark infringement, fan art everywhere. I went to a con one time and got a couple pieces that I think are awesome. This is a piece of sheet music with the Cuphead opening theme on it, and it's got like the characters in the background. I could post this in the Defining Duke Discord too tomorrow. I also got, and of course you get things and you're like, I'll frame this and hang it up, and I just haven't, but I got it a couple years ago. And then also I got one with Nier Automata on it, with the opening with the music on it, the theme. Those are definitely the unlicensed things. They're phenomenal. Every convention I've ever gone to since then, I've like looked around for art pieces like this. And I couldn't find them. I regret not buying like 500 of them, of different games and stuff that I like, or different properties that I like, because they had ones for movies and games and everything. But so those are my things. I don't really have a lot of. Most of the stuff I have is like from conventions that people gave me or whatever. I don't buy a lot of stuff, but I like groceries more typically. But the things I do have are things I actually really like. So.
Oh, that's so cool. I love that Cuphead. Wow, man, that's fire.
It's awesome. I wish I could find the people who made them. They didn't put their name on them. Probably smart, because Nintendo, or not Nintendo, but somebody would have sued them. But they're firemen.
What about you, Rand? What any official and unofficial things that are near and dear to you from a collector's standpoint?
I'm not really a memorabilia guy. I don't have anything that is like I would classify as near and dear to me, because when I bought stuff, it was just like, I just want the game. So I would like remember when Halo 3 came out, and it was like, you could get the game or you can get the cat helmet, right? But the cat helmet was, I forget how much or whatever, right? I just got the game because that's all I cared about. Like, I didn't care about the other extra stuff.
Never been moved for any game you love to be like, yo, I just want whatever this little piece is that, right? You have a strong conviction. You're very strong willed, because most gamers fold under the pressure of that if they love the game.
I mean, there's a lot of games I love, but it's just like, I'm not sure I would buy anything for it. I don't know. I don't know. I don't really think I would display it anywhere, or like my buddy Gopher like buys all the super special collector's editions, so he has like a huge like shelf that dedicate, like there's one like wall of his house where it's just like all the statues in each individual like kind of cove with individual lights that light up, right? So it's like he's really proud of that collection of that stuff. But like, no, there's really nothing that I look at and it's just like, man, I really want like a Mass Effect helmet. You know, like, because there was a Mass Effect helmet, but it was super expensive. Or like, I just want the game. I didn't really care for any memorabilia, so I never really spent any money on buying stuff. And I'm not cool like Ben to get stuff sent to me, so you know what I mean. So it's like,
I didn't ask for it, all right. I'm happy I got it, but I didn't ask for it. So
yeah, I don't really have. There's the answer to that question is not. I guess my most cherished memory is my pinned tweet. What could beat being on stage at Xbox, breaking 1 million gamer score, right? Like, I have the video on my YouTube channel. I have the thing linked in my, like, that's the ultimate like gaming memorabilia. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, so I don't know.
I did buy the I don't know why, because like I said, I don't do this kind of stuff, but I ended up getting the God of War Jotner edition for Ragnarok. I picked it up. I pre-ordered it, so that'll be added to my collection soon, I guess. But
that's hard, man. That's respect to you, man. I mean, I give you credit. You know, that you stronger will man than me. When I love something, I go hard. Like I guess it's like that's where Cogs. He's got to support the devs comes in for me. Like I know I clown people, but I do like, if I like something, I want to get as I clearly know, I have way too many t-shirts, like just way too many. Me and Maddie joke all that. I spend way too much money on geek merch. Like, it's just ridiculous. So you got that. But for me, you mentioned the Halo 3 helmet, which I have right there. On screen, it's heavy. I don't feel like grabbing it right now. But yeah, that one really meant a lot. The Master Chief helmet, whatever. Probably, and I want to shout him out from lordsofgaming.net. Had a similar situation to you, Ben, where I really wanted something and I was late on the Ghost of Tsushima.
Oh, that's sick. Yeah.
They collected, and I couldn't find it anywhere. They were overcharging me like crazy. I'm like, I can't justify this price eBay's doing. And then my good man, shout out to Nicholas Downey, Lord Undead, lordsofgaming.net. He's like, look, man, I'm going to be getting rid of mine for whatever reason. I'm like, bro, he's like, I know you're a Ghost fan. Do you want it? Like, I was like, bro, I'll buy it. Like, whatever the price.
Yeah.
Like, you tell me. And we worked it out. He shipped it to me from Canada, bro. I was so happy. I wear this. I wish I could just wear it. Like, this is so ninja.
That's real sick. That totally fits your aesthetic too.
Come on, this is so me. Like, how can this
That
not?
is you.
Yeah, like, you know what I'm saying? So that was that. And then recently, I would say in the back top, you see the Demio.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like, I'm such a fan of that game.
You shilling for VR and meta? Yeah, we know.
Listen, call it what you like. I know you got the bag from Oculus. That's the only reason why. Listen, man, if you play that game, that is the hottest new turn-based game, and playing it in VR is a transformative experience. I highly recommend you play it with friends. And if you're not, try the PC version. I still feel, even though the PC version is good, the VR version is way better. It truly has an extra dimension, man. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, man, like the fact, like I don't even play Dungeons and Dragons, but what they did is that the pieces, the original set, and then the artwork. Like I grew up on Grail Quest books, Choose Your Own Adventure books, and they have it for every adventure chapter. The artwork is exceptional. And for those who are in the D&D community, I know that type of stuff resonates, and it's really cool. So those are probably my... Oh, and one last one.
Is phenomenal, by the way. I've heard you shouting it out for months. I keep meaning to message you and tell you that I love it.
Man, he tried it. Yes. Yeah. That's all I say. I just say try.
I tried
That's
it
all.
Probably, I don't know, 6 months or a year ago, probably. But I haven't dove as deep as you have for sure, but I want to. I like it. So
have you played with friends, though, yet? Like,
yeah.
really in a group? Okay, cool.
That's the only way I played. I didn't even know you could play.
Oh, that's the way to do it, bro. Yeah, they're on the 4th chapter, new characters, more stuff they come up with people. I'm so proud of that studio. I think they got something they don't even realize it. Last thing, as a Destiny fan, I'd be remiss. Shout out to my guy, Brian Marcus, the artist. I actually have a painting. Yeah, they know I'm a Destiny warlock. They know Osiris is my favorite character. They have it's so well done. It's one of my favorite outfits in Destiny. And I literally have that in my living room in a frame. And that's one of my like off-platform stuff.
Nice.
But,
So I actually thought of something.
Well, let's go.
But it's not gaming related.
That's fine.
Okay, let's go.
So, you know, I'm a big book guy, big reader, right?
Better say Wheel of Time.
Well, see, here's the thing. The thing I want from Wheel of Time is this like really awesome book coverings that this one company makes to put on the hardcovers, and I will get that, but I just don't have the space for it just yet. It's like these like little. It's like I want it because I've seen it. I need it, right? But so
that's what I want to hear.
All my books are physical. Like I need the physical book, right? So I'm running out of space. Like I need to buy a huge bookshelf to put all these things in, probably a couple of them. There's this author, Brandon Sanderson, who actually finished The Wheel of Time. He has a series called Stormlight Archive, as well as other bunch of series like Mistborn and stuff. He has special leather-bound editions of his books, right? And my current favorite series that's in progress is Stormlight Archive by him, right? 4 books are out now. 5th book is coming in 2024. It's a 10-book series, so it won't be done until God knows when, and I'll be an old man. I love that book, the first book, so like the series so much, the first book. I spent the $200 to get the first book in leather bound.
Wow.
Nice. And so it is so beautiful, man. It's a leather bound collection. It's got the gold foil. It's got all the artwork on the inner. It's like it is like the most premium like book you could experience or have. So I actually bought that. Nice. I bought a couple of other leather bounds to add to the collection, but there's just, I don't know, there's something different because like that's still a book I can pick up and actually read if I wanted to.
No, I get you.
Know what I mean?
And that's where DBM got me. It's like, bro, they really wrote out the narrative for the adventure and it's in a book form and it looks so cool. It's nothing like what you meant. You were talking about next level, leather bound, like that's next level. But I feel you, like that book thing is real. Yeah, absolutely. I think how we get you, they come out with Wheel of Time video game.
Yeah, you know, I've spent way too much money on books, bro.
There is a Wheel of Time game from like
the
late 90s.
Back in the day.
Yeah.
Really?
I played it and was scared shitless as a child. It was intense. Well, I don't know if it was actually intense or if I was like, I think I got scared by lightning or something. I remember that. But there was a game, but that's the last one I know of.
Okay. Fair enough. So wrapping it up. That was the final question. Good one in the realm of the Dukes holding it down. Gotta come up with that traditional hashtag, I feel. You know what I'm saying? It's something that me and Maddie kind of go back and forth with. Guess let me see.
I think Power Wash.
Yeah, I was about to say it's got to be something to do with Power Wash.
Power Wash. You right. I can't dispute that. That Power Wash is literally the star of the show. It got mentioned so many times. Power Wash, hashtag Power Wash DD. If you got this far, put it up on your social medias. Hit us up on Twitter. You know what I'm saying? At Rand. What is it? Underscore?
Yeah, Rand _AL _ Thor _19. You know, shout out to Twitter for not letting you use spaces, right? So,
yeah. And where can they hit you with the hashtag Power Wash, Ben?
You can hit me on Twitter at Ben Smith 2588. My name is all too common to have a unique username, so anywhere.
No doubt. And that's me at Lord Cognito. An excellent day in the realm of Duke. Salute for holding me down. Of course, Randall Thor. Of course, Ben. I'm still calling you
That's
Ben. I
fine.
don't care what
That's
you
fine.
say. And of course, send some love to our brother, Mr. Matty Plays. Hopefully be back soon. But that's all I got. Everybody enjoy. And we appreciate the support, the feedback from the LSM community. This is Defining Duke, episode 81. Another one. Everybody enjoy. Peace.
Defining Duke, an Xbox podcast, is a product and trademark of Last Stand Media and Collins Last Stand LLC, and is recorded from the United States of America. The show is conceived by Matthew Mr. Matty Plays Schroeder and me, Colin Moriarty, and is written and produced by Matthew Schroeder. Matty's co-host is Barry Lord Cognito Eversley. Defining Duke's executive producer is Dustin Furman, and the show is edited by associate producer Ben Smith. All of Last Stand's theme music is by Ramon Narvaez. As you know, all of Last Stand Media's shows, including Defining Duke, are fan-funded on Patreon at patreon.com/laststandmedia. The following names are at the producer support level on Patreon, and we're thankful for your kindness and generosity.